do sort of get paid for this. Yeah, I guess I do get paid for this. Not this particular one. I get paid for Friday nights.
Well, it's a con game. If something
Oh
didn't go to
no.
hell, it wouldn't be the real experience.
I mean, I say the same thing about actual. He says we're live. I'm not seeing it
No.
though. It says 11 waiting. Isn't it supposed to be started now? Yeah, it sure should be.
Oh, I've got a friend in the chat. They say they're waiting for it to start as well.
Hmm. Hey, we're on the
Well, it's a
internet.
con game. If something didn't go to hell, it
We've
wouldn't be the
been
real
on the internet. It
experience.
just now said that we're on a con game. Okay, I'm gonna close that down. He says we're live. Cool. Hi guys. Welcome to Occultist. Wait, no, that's a different show. This is Gehenna Gaming. We are playing. Well, we're going to play, baby. We're playing Mage the Awakening. We are having an absolute blast of a time. For those who are unaware of what Mage the Awakening is, it is a Gnostic journey and investigation into the bizarre and the unknown, and I opened the wrong Roll20 game. Righto, I have the right one open now. It is an absolute blast to play. I've enjoyed playing it for quite some time now. For I DM and storytell for the Occultist Anonymous, which has been running for about a year. We have two should I say veteran players? We're gonna say veteran players with Doc and Leo. Well, wave guys. And then we also have Miani and Luca, who are brand spanking new. Neither have played Mage. I think Miani says she has the book and looked over some of it in preparation. So if you were expecting a super high level delving into the astral realms, visiting the underworlds, or digging into the shadow kind of adventure for Mage, this ain't it, kids. Go home. This is going to be very, very heavy investigation, boots on the ground, street level, getting to learn to be mages. So this is going to be very focused on learning. If you've never played Mage the Awakening, you sitting at home, this is probably something to sit back and watch. If you're going to be a veteran player and you're like, oh my god, they're taking 15 minutes to cast a spell, probably just scooch right along there. This probably isn't for you. So we pick up with our four characters: Eyes, Kogrim, Saffron Redwood, and Shahada. Basically, you guys were loaded into a taxi, Uber or Lyft or whatever, some vehicle, and driven upstate to in New York to Hallow Hill Penitentiary. You have been informed by your various mentors who have been training you and kind of bringing you up as mages. Once you had awakened, got a little hit the ground running kind of thing, teaching you how to use your spells wisely and kind of coaxing you into what your mentors saw as the proper way to be a mage, which probably in the car ride you guys are chatting and realize we don't all see things the same way, and that's fine. That's half the fun of being mages. But what you have been told by your various mentors is that Hallow Hill Penitentiary has had some weird reports of supernatural things happening. And the Hierarch is concerned about this. The Hierarch basically is like your local regional president. And he, thinks, hey, somebody should go investigate it. And all of the other mages are like, but why? Like, this is grunt work. And of course, your mentors, loving mentors that they were, said, grunt work? I have just the person. And so the four of you were volunteered to go investigate Hallow Hill. There's not much information that you have been provided. If any of you bothered to ask your mentors, it's like, well, hey, what gives? What do you mean? What supernatural things are going on? They basically look at you and say, that's what you're going to go find out. This is definitely a test. You definitely have the sensation of being mushrooms, kept in the dark and fed bullshit. God bless that line. I can't remember where I first heard it, but I love it. So you're showing up with very little information, but you know something is going on. And notably, you're mages. figuring out what is going on is kind of your shit. This is what you do. I'm going to put you guys a little bit on the spot, and we're going to start with Doc and Leo. But just go ahead and give me a quick overview of who your character is, and at least in your head, what is the most important thing about them. And we'll start with Doc, because for me, he's in the top left.
Okay, I am Eyes. So I was a black hat hacker who used to steal money from people. But after I awakened, I realized that that's probably...
I can't hear Doc's mic.
Oh, no.
Oh, no.
Not again.
This better?
It is
Nothing from
better.
Luca?
We've been having these tech issues for like the past hour, guys.
Oh,
so
yeah.
bear with us.
So if you're on YouTube, yeah, sorry. Luca, are you able to hear Dark now?
Hello.
Nope. I can hear Miani. I can hear you. I don't know if Leo has said anything.
Not yet.
Okay, I can hear Leo. It's just Doc.
Doc, do me a favor and mute and then unmute your mic. How about now?
Test.
Nope.
Let's see here. Quick mental shuffle of how we might do this. Welcome to Technical Difficulties, the game, guys. What we're gonna do is we're gonna just keep rolling on, and I will try and intervene where necessary, and I will think of possible technical fixes, because last time I tried to fix something, it broke it more. So, alternatively, I'm trying to think if this will break anything. Hey, Doc, do you mind just dropping out and joining back in, and let's see if that fixes it?
Yep, I can do that real quick.
Cool. And now everybody on YouTube is staring at weird split screens of all of us because we're all in Picasso positions. How about now?
Did that fix my positioning? Or not positioning, but my mic?
Anything from Luca?
It seems not.
Judging
No,
by
I
the-
can't hear him.
Dang.
Yeah, judging by the complete...
Yeah.
On my screen, it says that Luca is constantly talking.
That is.
Or that
Yeah, I've
there's
got
constant
as
activity.
well.
It might be that Discord's attenuating, although it should attenuate everyone to the level where she couldn't hear it if it's doing it to me.
Right. Actually, let's try something. Look at the bottom for Discord. There should be a little mute button for your mic. Try clicking that for a second. All right. How about now? Doc, try and say something.
Can you hear me now?
All right. Yeah. Go ahead and unmute. And we're just gonna struggle on through this. Fortunately, I'm the storyteller, so I'm the only one who has to really hear everybody, but I will try and repeat stuff as necessary. Oh boy. So guys, this is Mage the Awakening with one hand tied behind my back, but we'll be fine. And this is A-okay because, like I said, well, actually, Beyond is the one who said it. It's a con game. None of this goes right. Never. And that's okay. Yes, Doc is ex-Black Hat hacker, stole money, then awakened, and then, if I remember correctly, realized, hey, I could do better with my powers and skills, if I recall correctly.
Yes, he went on to start just mostly teaching people how to defend themselves online, and went to learn how to defend himself in person so he could start teaching people.
Good stuff. Oh, and yes, that's true. And you are of the Free Council. So you and Luca, oh, that's terrific. Yeah, so you and Shahata may actually know each other. Not that you guys, but apparently you guys are on the outs and you guys are just not speaking to each other.
Apparently, I guess.
Cool. Leo, tell us about Saffron Redwood.
Saffron Redwood is most notably a thief. Previously and still, he awakened as a criminal. Second story work mostly. As with a prevalence for blending into a crowd, he kind of plays up now a facade and plays as a bit of a dandy. He still has connections with criminals, and he is an acanthus, which basically means he is the luckiest SOB.
Yep, accurate. And if I remember correctly, when you're talking about this, a wonderfully waxed mustache, right?
Yes. Suspenders, a rolled up button down. A long sleeve button up shirt with, of course, the sleeves rolled up. Slacks.
Absolutely. Okay, good stuff. And Miani or Luca?
Sure. So Kogrim used to be an MMA fighter, and he was actually pretty good at what he did. He got quite a bit of renown. He made himself a nice, tidy little fortune, and then had a brush with death that maybe we'll get into later in the session. It definitely reset his priorities, and he no longer thinks of fame as the answer. He no longer thinks of violence as something that is entertainment, but he knows his skill set. So he is essentially, while trying to learn many of the mysteries of the universe for himself, he is more focused on defending the other mages who do the same and making sure they can do so in safety.
Cool. And Luca, who I think only picked Shahata a couple hours ago. Do you have any kind of mental, picture for who Shahata is?
Yeah, Sha'ata is a young man with tan skin, pale blonde hair with flowers braided into it. I described him earlier as a hippie granola boy. So he is pagan and worships Persephone, which meshes very interestingly with his new mage powers.
I dig it. Yeah. And Shahata is a Thyrsus. Eyes is a Mastigos. Saffron is the Acanthus, the lucky one, and Miani is, of course, Mosgrim is the nope, not Mosgrim. We're not playing. That's a completely different character. I need to move them elsewhere. Kogrim is a Moros, so a necromancer. So back to that whole car ride thing. You guys arrive at Hallow Hall Penitentiary, which quick little. Because this is 2020. You guys are on your phones like Hollow Hill Penitentiary. Where the heck is this place? Oh, okay. It's a low security prison, private prison in upstate New York. Brings in, like I said, it's low security, so it brings in minor troublemakers, short duration prisoners, and what was I saying? But basically, yeah, very low tier, fairly small. All told, it's only a couple hundred inmates, but it is across a very large acreage. One of the big things is, hey, we try and rehabilitate through letting folks leave the prison walls, and in a large acreage, they go on hikes. They're supervised and controlled and stuff like that, but it's hey, we're not gonna they try to avoid locking them in cells for days and days and days, and then you get to spend some time at the yard for an hour once a week or something like that. They've got this it's a little bit of a hippie vibe of and notably it seems heavy emphasis on reform and fighting recidivism. So as far as prison goes, it's kind of an okay one. When you guys arrive, you have the big double set of fences that you're escorted through. You've got various security guards and stuff like that, and basically are taken to the visitor center with a not overly done up, but a nice looking kind of secretary guard kind of crossover at the desk and looking up at the four of you who are shall we say a mixed bag of people, and like any good tabletop RPG party is, and kind of looks up and says, can I help you?
Have we been given someone to ask for, a contact?
Nope.
Okie doke.
Yeah, legitimately, this is the the Spartan. We're gonna throw you out in the wild and see if you come back kind of thing. Now, feel free out of character or in character, because you did have a chance to talk in the car, of like, hey, who's good at talking to people, or who can't, and feel free to talk that out, because that's half the fun.
What's the cover story, guys?
You do know at least that much, that you are being sent in as like some private third-party investigators.
Okay.
Now, what you're investigating?
We have no idea.
We could have gotten complaints about the condition of some of the inhabitants, and since that's a big thing for them, they want to make sure it's fully investigated. We could be there to visit a particular prisoner. I know at least one of you has background in crime. You could know someone in here.
That's a pretty good idea.
Oh yeah, that's true.
And once we get in there, something's bound to show its face. We can keep our eyes peeled.
And while you guys are working that out, Doc, I see that you're already casting a spell. What are you casting there, bud?
Outward, inward eye.
Okay, cool. Instant and duration, I would guess.
Yes, instant and duration.
Cool. So yeah, go ahead and roll your 6 dice. You should be able to just hit quick roll and then put in 6, and it'll roll it for us. So
what is he casting?
He is casting a spell on. Yes, sorry, right, because Luca can't hear. He's casting Inward Outward Eye, which basically is a Mastigos spell, which allows him to basically eyes in the back of his head and beyond. Is impossible to be ambushed, can see around corners and stuff like that. Everything that's basically within a general vicinity of himself, he is just perceiving, and spending reach to be instantly cast, and then with an advanced duration. So it's going to last for actually the whole day. There is a thing about spell control and how many spells you can maintain at a time, which generally right now is just 1, without pushing some further complications. We'll get into that if it becomes necessary. I'll let you know your decision. But with 1 success, whoop, it happens. For everybody else, especially since I don't know if eyes even bothered to say anything, you all have a tingling sensation. It's kind of unique to each of you. The Acanthus may hear, Faye melodic laughing and giggling. The Thyrsus with Shahata may have like some sensation of like, rippling, wind in his hair, something like that. It's all tied. Kogrim may smell something moldy and decaying. It's something that's unique to each mage, that they just know something supernatural just happened or is happening. So you all may know something, but you don't necessarily know what it is.
Was that one of you guys?
Wasn't me.
Oh.
Yeah. Zai says, "Oh yeah, sorry, that was me."
My bad.
Yeah. With a cover story of a little, just to meta knowledge, so you guys are here to investigate, living conditions. There's been some reports, and who steps to chat with the secretary or receptionist?
I have no social skills.
I'll step up there. He's twirling his mustache, and it's like, "Hello, how are you doing today?"
Working.
We're from Diamond Investigations. We're here about the recent disturbances. Can we get our visitor passes and be shown along our way?
Diamond Investigations. And she shifts and pulls and like is flipping through clipboards, and she looks a little frazzled. I don't have anything. Are you sure you had an appointment for today? Please roll manipulation plus persuasion or subterfuge, because technically you have been sent here, but probably not necessarily as Diamond Investigations.
I'd like to use manipulation persuasion.
Sure.
Can I also go ahead and take a moment, just a second or two, and cast Choose the Thread?
Sure, absolutely. and choose the thread, if I remember correctly, basically is going to allow. Go ahead.
Yeah, go for it.
It basically is going to give you the rope quality on some the next roll or two, I think.
No.
The way choose the thread works is you roll twice and the mage picks which roll.
Yes.
Yep.
It's super advantage for you D&D players.
Yep.
Rope quality is
A little bit different.
thing, I think.
Now this is one of my my ropes.
Okay.
I would like to do it without going super flashy, and I'm not sure that I can. So yeah, I have rope to cast it instantly. I mean, reach to cast it instantly, and that's all I need. But I'll also use duration just in case, because I have like 4 free reach.
Right.
And I'll go ahead, use another one of my 4 to for advanced scale, cast it on everyone.
Cool. And just very casually.
And a range.
Oh, sensory range. Sure. Yeah. So that'll do. Yeah. So and so
my question.
Go ahead.
Yeah. That was my question: is whether or not I can use the occult yantra aspect of that, or would that be really kind of obvious?
Well, you tell me, and I'm going to put you on the spot because you've played mage before. But what is the occult mudra, the little mnemonic thing that you do that helps you do this spell? Because a lot of them could be a mental thing where, especially being an acanthus, you might literally be telling yourself some like old school, rhyme, some grim fairy tale, or something like that reminds you about making smart decisions, something like that.
He's imagining like the futures there, and he's literally stealing like a jewel off of a thread.
Sure, I dig it. Yeah, so and it's all just kind of in his head. So Saffron takes that moment to is in the middle of a conversation and then goes, "Oh yeah, but that's absolutely fine." So you can totally use that mudra.
All right. 2 successes.
Cool. So no problem at all there. Then go ahead and roll the, I think you said subterfuge?
No, I was going to go with persuasion.
Okay. Yes, for those of you at home, when playing mage, be prepared that you will be rolling 2 or 3 times to do just one thing.
Okay. And that was me rolling it twice.
Rolling twice, and I'm just going to take a guess here. Do you want to take the 2 successes, or do you want to take the 0 successes?
Door number 2.
Wait. Oh, as in the 2 successes.
Yep, that is correct. I've got something in my eye.
That's great.
I'll take the no successes, and then I'll take a dramatic failure.
That is a possibility, yes. She looks, and you just calmly this is where we're supposed to be, and she believes you, and she goes, okay, maybe I just don't have anything here. I'll be right back. I'm gonna let the warden know that you're here. If you're investigating anything, he'll probably want to know. And so kind of scoots back from her thing and heads into
before she goes to towards the warden. I'm going to look back at these guys and give them a quick look, like, come on, maybe anything, and stop her from bringing the boss down.
Just a little meta. It's okay that she's going to the warden. I appreciate that, but she actually kind of walks back and down a long hallway. You can see, she leaves the little door. Technically, if any of you actually, I'm sure there's a big glass thing there. But she makes her way down a hallway, knocks on a door, pokes her head in, and a moment later, a gentleman comes out, mid-60s, a little bit older to him. Cut a kind of long top, short-sided, curly hair. He's a little bit. He looks like he's trying to keep himself fit, but has started to put on a little bit of weight because he's kind of advancing on in age and has got more of a desk job now. You can hear them talking, not quite able to make out. You're making sorry, he's black. You make out a little bit of an accent to him, and he's talking with her and can't quite making out the words, and then she nods and has a motion back towards the back offices, and then she starts coming back while he makes his way back to another office. The secretary makes her way. Whoops, hang on, sorry. I have to be careful what pages I open in browser here, otherwise I lose all my notes. So yes, the lady who, by the way, has a little name tag that says Alyssa Gibson. Alyssa comes back and says, "Sorry about that. I don't know where the paperwork is. I think we lost it, but the warden says he's expecting you. So I guess everything's all right. So I'm gonna print some stuff out real quick." And just some visitor badges and passes, and the warden would like to speak with you in the offices. So hits a little buzzer and kind of allows you guys around back into the offices. And she just, as she's letting you all through, she's like, and just make sure you come back to get these. That way you don't have any problems with security as you do your investigation. I'm so sorry about all this mix-up.
It happens.
Thank you, Miss Gibson. I'm gonna go ahead and turn on Mage Sight.
Okay. So turning on Mage Sight is a thing that all mages are capable of doing. They can turn on basically a kind of special vision where they see an overlay of the world around them viewed through magical sight. So in the case of, to give you an example of what it would look like, if anybody has seen the movie Constantine, and you haven't seen Constantine? Oh.
I've never even heard of that.
Oh, okay. Well, we'll arrange a viewing party or something. Oh,
it's
yeah,
like
there you
Mage.
Go. Yeah, but basically, there's a bit where Constantine throws himself into hell, and it's the world around him just all twisted up and scarred and stuff like that, and that's a view of Mage Sight. So in the case of an acanthus, like Saffron seeing things as a Mage Sight, is heavily fairy and twisting shapes and wobbling futures and after images and things of that nature. And what arcana are you activating?
I'm going to go ahead and use a mana to include Prime.
Okay, so you're using all three of yours? Okay.
Yes.
So yeah, you are inundated with all sorts of different visions, seeing things related to fate, to time, and to Prime, which is the big kind of meta magic site. It does mean, of course, you're going to be a little bit debilitated doing any other kind of skill rolls.
Yep.
Okay. Immediately looking in the area, nothing really catches your attention. But as you guys make your way down, the warden is waiting next to not his office door, but another office door. And he kind of walks out and extends his hand out and shakes it with all of you. Warden Kane Ellis. I appreciate you all coming. I was given note that I should expect some visitors today, and definitely is giving you all a once or twice or thrice over. You were not what I was expecting, and is actually kind of eyeing up Kogrim a little bit and says, "Do I know you from somewhere?"
Nothing recent, but yes, probably.
Where
I'll
would I know
adopt
you
a
from?
very subtle fighting stance.
Oh my gosh. Okay. All right. That's a big career change. Okay. I knew there was stuff in the news. I won't pry. I'm sorry. And motions to the other door that he was at, which has a little name tag on it. It says Dr. Holly Clark. and says, as I understand, Dr. Clark is who requested the investigation, and so she's the one to chat with. But if you have any questions about our security, or you need to go anywhere in the facility, please let me know, and I'll assign one of the security guards to get you to there. I hope your investigation goes well, and you don't encounter any problems. I look forward to a clean bill of health.
One question: how long have you been the warden here?
So, well, I've been the warden for the past decade or so, 10, 11 years.
You worked here previous to that?
Oh, yes. Yeah, I
What
worked my
capacity?
way. I was, head of, was just a security guard. That was, when I arrived here, that's the only job I could get. And then I worked up to head of security and worked nights and was given the opportunity to run the prison. It's going to sound weird, but this is kind of like my second home at this point.
I'm sure other people would be less happy to say the same, but thank you for your help.
Thank you. Makes his way back over into his office and shuts the door. Inside the room, if whoever kind of does the little Scooby-Doo poke your head in kind of thing, you can see Dr. Holly Clark, because she's the one sitting at the desk, and it's her name on the board. Early 40s psychiatrist, loose blonde hair, very, very tan skin. Either it's natural or she definitely spends some time out in the sun. She smiles at you all and says, "Oh, hi. Okay, good. I wasn't sure when you all were going to arrive." And she motions to, there's literally 2 chairs in front of her. And then she realizes that there's the 4 of you. And she's like, yeah, somebody can sit and you can lean against the wall. I'm sorry. I don't usually have large groups like this. Oh, and you can shut the door. And as you guys kind of settle in wherever, because it doesn't matter who's sitting.
I'll stand. It's better for your health.
I'm going to shut the door and take a position next to it.
So Eyes and Saffron apparently sit down.
The
she's
two
like,
thieves in a prison.
right. And she's like,
Cool
okay.
as a cucumber.
So she looks and says, "Okay, good. The door's shut. I am very glad that the hierarch sent you. This has been some very odd goings on. We've been working very hard at this prison, and I don't think anybody wants to see this unravel. What all have you been told?"
We
Less
are
than that
mushrooms.
sentence.
Did you say, where's the bathroom?
Hang on, because you actually did say stuff at the same time. I wasn't sure. Was it Leo? Go ahead and go first.
Less than that sentence.
Okay, and then Doc, what were you saying?
We are mushrooms.
We are mushrooms. Thank you. I appreciate you throwing the quote back at me. And so Dr. Holly kind of sits back and says, "I mean, you are mages, right? They wouldn't have sent more sleepwalkers, would they have? Right? You all are.
We are mages.
Oh, okay.
More?
I have outward inward eye up right now.
She's like, "Okay, well, I can't see that, so you don't have to rub that in my face." No, I'm a sleepwalker. I work with the Silver Ladder, who none of you are. So that doesn't that cuts that off. But the Silver Ladder is a particular order. And she's a sleepwalker, which is kind of the mage equivalent of a ghoul. They have some talent, not necessarily with magic, but working with magic. And notably, they're one of the few people that mages can cast spells in front of, and it doesn't go all wibbly wobbly and muck things up. So she's in the know without necessarily having magic. So she's like, "Okay, well, good. Then hopefully you will be able to see things that I can't." And she pulls out a small stack of papers and stuff in a folder, and she says, "You can go through this if you want. This is the past several months worth of we'll say odd occurrences that have no I work heavily with every inmate here, And these are the particular cases and incidents that just really do not match their personalities. And it's been ongoing in different ways, different things. And it's not repeat behavior either, because if it was repeat behavior, then I'd think it was something on the psychiatry thing that I might be able to help. The worst one, well, yeah, the worst one and the most recent one is this, and pulls out one sheet of paper and hands it to one of the two sitting ones, I guess. And it's a quick write out of that basically explains of a fight that happened in the yard between a inmate Emmett, inmate Denny, and inmate Caden, and then list down that there was also a witness Leo. And this is all just in like, this is definitely not like official prison documentation. This is like on college ruled handwritten notes that she's got like kind of separate, not as part of the official, record. She says it's odd because nobody in here has a history of violence. That they can't to be put in this prison. It doesn't work for our reform policies. But I'm not exactly sure what happened. But Emmett, who based on, well, actually, you don't have that information. It's just Emmett basically got into a fight with two younger men half his age, and I like, between the fact that they're younger than him and they outnumbered him, I don't know what he was doing. And Emmett is, he's for lack of a better term, he's a wuss. He's in here for burglary and, like avoided conflict, doesn't like guns. He's that kind of, and he's here just do his sentence. He knows he stole and he's willing to pay back with, time served. So I'm not
Out
sure.
of curiosity, who won?
Well,
probably the two younger gentlemen.
Right.
Well,
Denny,
that's the question.
right. Emmett, nobody wins at violence, but Emmett is still in the infirmary recovering. Denny has a broken arm, and Caden has some bumps and bruises and scrapes. But Emmett definitely lost.
Oh.
So it's not like he had changed behavior and then extra power, just the changed behavior.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay, that was what I was trying to ask.
Okay.
Who are your handlers in the Silver Ladder?
There's always one who asks that question that you're just not prepared for. I report to Hadramiel down in the New York Concilium.
And is there a particular project that he has you watch over here that you know of? Any particular work?
Yeah, no, this is the prison is part of Cryptopoly. We work on recruiting and awakening people who show some presence of mind and kind of nurture them to be better. If they awaken and become mages or sleepwalkers, then that's terrific. But even if not, then hopefully they come out better people.
Were any of these incidents people who were specifically in the Cryptopoly?
No, none of the people that were involved in this were part of the Cryptopoly. Generally speaking, Emmett, Caden, and Leo and Denny are all, well, maybe Denny's one we'd like to recruit, but he's very, very new. He's got some skills that we could put to use when he gets out. But right now, no, none of the I don't think anybody in the Cryptopoly, like, we're working to put it another way, more meta knowledge. None of the inmates are part of the Cryptopoly. They're people that are being affected by the Cryptopoly, which sorry, I keep saying Cryptopoly. Basically, the Cryptopoly is a sinister cult, but generally it's leading towards helping people awaken. The trick being, it's people that they think are deserving and are good people, and so it can be a little bit privilegey, picking and choosing who should get this kind of added benefit. That said, they do have a kind of wide thing of trying to make life better for everybody. But yeah.
How does their vision of who is worthy correlate to maybe the Adamantine Arrow's vision?
Actually, pretty close. Adamantine Arrow don't tend to recruit. The Silver Ladder and the Guardians tend to go out and recruit and kind of nudge people to awakening. The Adamantine Arrow are more of you've awakened and show some mind for dealing with conflict. Like there's some of these folks who once they awaken from the Cryptopoly, the Silver Ladder might go, "Yep, you can have them," and pass them on to the Adamantine Arrow if they don't quite have this suited thing, or if by happenstance, somebody who does have a history of violence or conflict and thrives on that, even in a good way, right? They'll kind of pass them. You can have them. Yeah.
And then they say screw you and go free counsel sometimes.
They very well could do that.
Is there a chance we could talk to any of the people who have displayed these odd behaviors? Maybe Emmett?
Yeah, absolutely. I can. Hopefully, Alyssa has this stuff printed out, and I'll get one of the guards to take you all down to the infirmary. So she quickly gets up and leads you guys down the hallway, and to cut things down for time, you guys very quickly get handed badges, visitor badges, and just a little clipped on, and and she basically calls over. Whoops. Sorry. Hold, please. Okay. Every now and then you just look over and you realize that your notes are duplicated. Yes, she basically at Alyssa's desk gets on the radio and basically says, "Hey, Bobby, can you send somebody over here to escort some investigators down to the infirmary? I'm kind of swamped." Yep. Okay. Yeah. Right away, Dr. Clark. And a little while later, a kind of late 40s gentleman, salt and pepper hair, very short shaved, trimmed, kind of military style. A little on the short side. He's like 5'4", but like built like a bus. Big bulky guy. Kogrim and he might like eye each other up. I can take you, kind of thing. Definitely, but has a couple extra little epaulets or marks of rank or something like that on his arm. He's like, "Oh yeah, hi, Bobby Burns. Nice to meet you guys. I'm head of security. I've got one of the boys will be coming over here momentarily. I just want to give you some some basic stuff. I'm sure the doctor has gone over things. And all our inmates here are well behaved and stuff like that. But we try to encourage no contact, no hugging, no touching. Give some space, and that way we don't have to force kind of any kind of compliance stuff. So if you're investigating, if you've got to talk with folks, do it through the bars if you can, or arrange for a sitting room where we can have one of the guards with you. But right now, everybody's in lockdown after this last little event. So everybody's in their cells, so you shouldn't be running into it. So we're just sending you with the one guard. There he is, Daniel. All right. Another guard comes over. Definitely more what you would expect from like newbie security guard. He's like early 20s. It's like still doesn't even quite fit his uniform. Not quite dorky in like the nerdy sense, but the just like a little bit out of and he goes, "Oh yep, yes sir." Kind of looks at the four of you and definitely is like, "Okay, right, the infirmary. Follow me," and like looks at Dr. Clark, and Dr. Clark gives him a little, and he's like, "Oh." And like very like you can definitely tell he's used to like just chatting with inmates and keeping things, and this is weird. But you guys make your way down to the armory.
We're quite an odd bunch.
Infirmary. What was that, Doc?
I said we're quite an odd bunch.
Yes, a very odd bunch. Yes. So yes, takes you down to the infirmary, where he takes you over to Emmett, and kind of he steps back and just kind of sits near a wall, and the door, and just kind of gives you all space. Emmett looks late 50s, mixed race, and where my notes. Okay, sorry. Shaved head, and definitely has some signs of has lived a rough life. And then he's got two arms. Well, his whole right arm is in a cast. His left forearm is in a cast. Yeah, he looks up and kind of does the same thing everybody does of, what on earth are you people? And looks
As
up.
As we come into the infirmary, can I turn on my death sight
Sure,
so that
absolutely.
I can see if there's any ghosties or any anchors of ghosties in the room?
Absolutely.
I also would like to do the same thing with mind and spirit.
Mind and spirit, cool. For your spirit, that does cost you a mana.
Yes, I know.
I'm saying that for everybody, Doc. But yes, looking on Bwomp Mage Sight, and especially because Moros are my favorite. Yeah, you just watch as you're in the infirmary, and then everything just kind of gets this kind of decay look, wear and tear, and then it kind of shifts back and forth, and you watch as little dust bunnies like accumulate and then just fade away as stuff kind of transitions back and forth in states of matter. It's definitely a ride, but looking around, Death Sight specifically lets you know if people have souls or if they're alive, which you do a quick little once over. And yeah, okay, everybody that you're with has a soul, and they're definitely living, breathing. You have not been walking around with vampires the entire time. But looking at Emmett, one of the things you definitely see is he's beat up, he's wounded, he is alive, which and looks in game terms looks a little wounded, obviously. But beyond that, there's definitely something going on. Or at least some kind of you're not able to place your finger on it, but as you're seeing, like, you're inundated with these odd supernal symbols, it looks like there's some kind of effective ghostly noumena. A ghost has affected him in some way, but it's past. You're kind of seeing the leftovers of it, so it's not enough for you to investigate. But a ghost has actually messed with this guy, which, on a sheer whim that you put that on, good job. But yeah, he kind of sits up and looks up, and like I said, looks you guys over and goes, "Well, you all are an odd bunch. What can I do for you?" And just if anybody is also not talking to him but is looking around, he does have a little chart that lists his name as Emmett McKinney. Like I said, late 50s, and he is in for burglary, which you've already been told. But
do I know of him with my contact as a burglar? Or no?
We're gonna say no.
Okay.
But you potentially worked in the same circles.
Okay.
Sha'ada just feels so sad that since this is a normal human, he can't heal him.
Yes.
Looks so sad with the two casts.
Welcome to the downside of being a mage. But yeah. So he's kind of looking you guys up as you guys kind of eye him up, and he's what?
So tell us about you. Yeah, we're private investigators.
You're wait, like, I mean, what do you want to know? I'm already in jail.
Oh, we're not investigating you. Don't worry. We're investigating the prison. Apparently, they've been up to some shady stuff. So we want to get the story of how they've been persuading you guys to commit violence. So why don't you tell us what happened?
No. It's a terrific prison. I mean, well, okay, it's the only prison I've been to, but I mean, the food is not crap. The food is not crap. The beds are actually decently comfortable. The cells are small, but I mean, we get a decent amount of time out in the yard, and there's the whole hikes. And Dr. Clark is amazing. The warden doesn't suck. No. Like, if anybody's telling you that this prison is messed up, they need to get their facts checked.
Well, it could be something just as simple as a gas leak that's affecting people's minds, and in that case, of course, no one would be at fault. But what is the last thing you remember before your altercation with the other two inmates?
Oh, that's what I thought. Well, it was yard time, so I'm not much for the weights or anything like that, but I like to go out and work, and so yeah, I usually just jog the yard, and that's just like I'll do that for half an hour, and I got into a good pace, and then I woke up here in pretty sorry shape, and not feeling so great. But
Oh dear.
yeah, it was jog and then here, and so there's this. Yeah, they say
I was
I
going to
attacked.
ask if you could draw
remember-
some map, but probably not.
What was that, Luca?
Just you don't remember anything that happened to you? How you got your arms broken?
No. Some of the other fellas and Dr. Clark said that I apparently I tried to fight Denny, and like Denny's a good kid. I mean, we're not buddies or anything like that, but we've chatted a little bit, and he helped teach me how to Google in the library. Like he's an alright kid, and they said I swung at him.
Oh no.
Well, from what we've heard, he and Caden are both okay, so don't trouble yourself there.
I would hope they're okay.
Are you able to give us directions to where you were jogging the last thing you remember?
Oh yeah. No, I wasn't out in the trees. No, the actual like exercise yard that we use like most of the time.
Okay.
And there's a dirt track that just surrounds the whole thing, and I just jog it. Of course, he's not making these motions.
Oh,
Not
that's
making
pretty.
hand motions.
Yeah,
Right
they
now.
yeah,
He's doing this.
right. Oh, poor Emmett. But yeah, no, I just walked the outside or jogged the outside, and I mean I was 2 or 3 laps in, and then I was here. Well, then I woke up here.
Did you do anything different that day? And I'm going to lean forward. Like you can tell us. I'm going to brush some hair out of his head and try and pluck one of the hairs.
Okay, let's roll some larceny at dexterity larceny -2. Hang on. I'm going to backtrack just a little bit because I'm going to remind you that our good friend Emmett McKinney here is bald.
You're right. Oh, yeah.
Can you get like an arm hair? I guess not.
His arms are in casts.
Yeah.
Don't mind me,
Just
man.
like-
I'm just checking out your
just like-
legs.
Yeah. I guess I'm plucking one of his.
Now, bear in mind, are you trying to get like a sympathetic yantra?
Yeah, I want to do a temporal yantra. Use it to trace back the hair to what happened.
Okay.
that
So
event.
one of the things you can do is, like, if you're willing to, you could cast that right here, right now, using him as the yantra to himself back then.
That.
Right. Now, are you wanting to do post-cognition?
Yes.
Okay, so one thing I will mention about post-cognition, which for those of you at home and our new players, I'm going to go back and see what happened. Literally, physically, I will basically be there. The problem is you're watching it in real time. So you will show up at point X and start watching it in real time, during which everybody else is going to watch you sitting catatonically staring off into space. So it may be
Unless
something
you take
to
that
arrange.
Read.
I mean, we could always just do some chit chat while he does that.
Right. Which and that's the main thing is you probably want to mention to your cabal that hey, I'm gonna just kind of zone out here for a second.
Okay.
I think there is a reach for staying aware of your surroundings for that spell.
That is true.
And
What
is
did
there
he
one
say?
for scrubbing as well?
So there are some reach options that that include that spell. One of which allows you to scrub, so you can fast forward and rewind, and then another one that allows you to remain aware of what's going on while you're also watching all this happen.
Well, the problem is, even without the being aware of it, I'll be overreaching.
Mm-hmm.
So
I mean, and
like
Paradox is scary, but it's not super scary.
right. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and like.
Why not? Let's just go for it.
We could look at this a little bit more. We could maybe reconstruct it in our heads. Why don't you guys ask him some questions, and I'm gonna sketch it.
I dig that. That's a pretty good way of covering it. So real quick, let's break down the reach because you're going to instant cast, advanced duration.
Advanced duration. I'm going to want to scrub it.
Okay.
And so that's my 3 free reach, and I've currently got choose the thread still up on everyone, and that brings me to 4. So that would be 1 overreach.
Right. Now, do you want to drop choose the thread, or are you just going to hang on to that for now?
I'm gonna hang on to it, keep you guys buffed.
Okay, and
I'm going to go ahead and try and contain it.
Okay, cool. So because you're overreaching by 2, that means 2 dots of paradox. I will roll that.
Oh, that's you.
Is it 2? I thought it was 1.
You're
would be
overreaching
2
by 2, and it's 1 per overreach.
Oh,
I didn't know he was overreaching by 2. I thought he had. How many reach do you have?
I have I have time 3. This is a 1, and I was using 4 reach. So.
Oh, you're only overreaching by 1. Okay. So yeah.
Yeah,
so it's just
he
1
wasn't
die.
using the catatonic or not be catatonic.
Oh, perfect. Okay, so 1 success. So I'm not even going to have you roll your wisdom to contain it. So yeah, just go ahead and roll Gnosis plus time plus, I guess. Well, what yantra do you want to use? Or do you have that as a...
I'm going to go ahead and in my just pull my coin.
Okay. Cool. Oh yeah.
Just pull my coin out of my pocket and just kind of hold it in my hand.
Sure. And so
I don't think I'm going to be using my only other yantra, which is not my shadow name.
No.
That seems like a bad thing to pull out in a prison.
Yeah. Trust me, I bypassed the whole like, hey, we're gonna check and make sure you don't have any dangerous weapons thing because just.
For those of you who don't know, my only other yantra that I have access to is a knife.
And a prison.
Fighting knife specifically.
Yep. Luckily, this is basically a Montessori prison.
Cool. So yeah, Saffron, you launch. Oh, now I need you to do. Well, you know when the event happened. Just between the writing that Dr. Clark gave you plus his little sheet there, so you can actually pinpoint when it happened. Do you show up mentally at the time that it happened, or a little bit before, a little bit?
I would like to go up to maybe 30 minutes before.
Okay, cool. So we'll catch up with you here momentarily while you're scrubbing through that. What are the 3 of you doing? It's that kind of day.
So just ask him, like, so how have you been feeling since then?
Okay, and Doc, what were you saying?
I was gonna say, so walk us through like your daily routine so we can get an idea of where you visit, where we might need to look. So if there's something messing with your head, we might be able to look
Sure.
at it and figure out what happened here.
Right. So he looks at Shahata and says, I'm okay. The arms suck. Doc says, that'll be. I've never broken an arm. A couple months, right? Yeah. But that's fine. And I'll be honest, this hospital bed is actually a little bit better than the one in my cell. And it's I'm okay. One of the nurses is cute, so and looks at Doc and says, no, like really, and actually kind of looks over and points at the guard and says, I mean, they can give you, my daily schedule. We get up, chow, showers, back to the cells, chow, and it's a prison, man. I don't do anything out of the ordinary and out of the norm. But yeah, in short, he gets up, has food, has some time at the library, has a little bit of time, in the yard, like every other day. And but for him, he's like I couldn't even tell you like a specific thing that's acting weird.
Ding.
Don't start. For those of you who watch Occultist Anonymous, that's a thing. For those of you who don't, it's a thing. Sorry, don't worry about it. Yeah. So were there any other quick little questions or anything? Otherwise, we'll jump over to Saffron's time travel, air quotes.
I think Kogrim got what he needed.
Okay. Yeah, so Saffron, you were whooshed back, and because you were using him, Emmett, as the target, you were following him as a ride-along, basically. You don't have a large vision of what's going around, because the scale is, just him. But you basically kind of like a, fly on the wall over his shoulder, kind of, right along as, especially 30 minutes before the incident, you see him getting out of his cell, walking with a handful of other inmates from like his cell block out to the yard. Everybody's spreading out, and then like happy to be out and moving. And there's a bit of a rush to like get over to the basketball court, and it's almost to the level of like kids at recess. People rushing to different exercise equipment, or just finding a spot on bleachers to just chill. And yeah, you catch him just start jogging. There's a couple other folks who are jogging as well, and he does 1, 2, 3 laps, and it's as he is passing by. Gotta get over the notes to Denny. Well, actually, you don't know, but three guys who are just kind of sitting, kind of leaning up against a wall, who are just chatting kind of amiably, and all of a sudden, Emmett is just running, and then you watch as his face kind of contorts and gets a little bit of this like snarl to it, and Emmett, who's not exactly a big guy, but he's fit, he's been running and jogging daily, or twice, whatever. He's a fit, lean guy, but he's older, and he throws himself bodily at one of the guys, and like there's no skill or technique in. It's just a flailing, arms swinging down at one of these guys, who quickly starts to cover himself and duck and like shelter from, and does a push, and you watch as another guy shoves Emmett down. You're not quite able to see everything because, like I said, you have a very limited kind of like field of vision around him, but there's a shove, and then there's like some kicking, and it doesn't look like that full-legged like slamming kick, but just like a like if a dog comes at you and you're like, dude, back off, back up, and but Emmett keeps like getting up, and they push him down, and then eventually you see him get tackled by basically a big security guard kind of lands over him and like holds him down, and then Emmett kind of just goes limp. Go ahead.
One question. Do I see how his arms get so messed up?
Yeah, it definitely looks like in the process of like people, because you're not able to quite, but there definitely looks like there's some kicks from one side and the other, and he just keeps getting up, and some of those kicks definitely seem to land on the arms. Notably, I don't know how Saffron kind of feels about this. Well, at least they're not kicking him in the head or in the junk. It's like, and it definitely has this look of like they know this guy, and they're trying to like they're a little freaked out, at least from the kind of view you've got from like the waist down.
Does while I'm watching this, I still have my mage sight up, right?
Correct. You can see some stuff through the veil of mage sight. Yes.
Do I see any active super now effects?
You cannot see because what mage what arcana do you have activated?
Um,
Fate, time.
Prime.
No, you do not
Okay.
see anything within those purviews.
Okay, and do I, with my merit, piercing gaze, do I see any active effects that are trying to hide themselves? I can
Not within your arcana.
Okay.
Because you still have to have the Arcana to see the Arcana.
I'm going to go ahead and try and let it play out a little bit further.
Sure.
To see if there's anything interesting. If not,
Right.
I'll come back. Let the guys finish talking up.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, you basically watch as Emmett's body basically goes limp, and the guards like, okay, and because you can hear, all right, everybody lay up. Hang on. Oh my God, is he dead? Okay, no, he's breathing. Somebody get, all right, everybody, and you hear alarms go off, and there's definitely a rush of movement as inmates are sent back to their cells. Eventually somebody comes out and collects Emmett, who as far as you can see is just completely catatonic. Eyes are kind of open a little bit, but they wheel him out, and then the vision eventually they're like, okay, he's out, and you kind of come out of your vision. You guys have had some more small talk with Emmett when Saffron finally kind of shakes his head and is like, oh, hey, I'm back.
So if you want, I can recommend you some wellness podcasts to listen to, since you won't be able to read or use your phone with your arms in the casts.
I love Luca. Thank you. Were you just sitting on that waiting? I love it. Okay. But yes, and he's nodding and like, Shata is very weird, but you know what? Fine, I'll listen to this. Nod, yeah, sure, okay.
Smile and wave.
Right, and while Saffron was there in the vision and stuff like that, did you guys have any other thoughts or questions that came up that you may have asked while they were away?
Not off the top of my head, but just to be clear, I didn't see anything with either of my two Arcana.
Reminding me.
I had open mind and spirit.
No active effects. We lost Doc. Doc, come back.
Okay. Discord is deciding to randomly disconnect me from the call.
That's fun.
That's fun.
Yes. No.
This
You're
is like the third time it's happened.
Yeah. Well, we've noticed. No. There are no active effects of those Arcana on the Emmett or in the area.
Okay. Then I probably would have dropped it by now.
Okay. So yeah, Saffron, you come out of your post-cognition with a little view of what had happened. And yeah.
I love springtime. It's a great time of year.
Go ahead, Leo.
No, I just want to make sure that my character would have gotten maybe a second good look at the face when it changed, just so he could be able to.
Oh yeah, maybe rewind a little bit. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Actually, if he's right before that, he's going to activate another spell while he's doing it. Super now vision.
Oh, you cannot cast spells in post-cognition because you are not there. You are viewing something, but you are not actually there. You would need much more time power to pull that off.
Yeah. Then.
Cool.
He'll wait for everyone. As we make the exit, he'll take them outside and kind of describe the scene, and he'll go in depth with describing it.
So you do have a security guard there. who's waiting, and so you guys are in the room with Emmett, who's in the one of the spot your escort. The security guard is there, and so yeah, you may have to be circumspect about how you were saying this. Or
Danny, can I call you Danny? Do you maybe have a room where we could set up? We might be here for quite a while.
Yes, sir. I think, we'll use one of the visitor rooms, and kind of escorts you guys down the back hallway to, one of those little dual pane, little visitor rooms, and says, if you guys need a real office with like a computer and stuff, I can talk to, but like, if you just need a little conference, this will work, I think.
This will do us just fine.
Okay, cool.
Just before we leave Emmett, Sha'ata is going to take one of the flowers out of his hair and hold it out to him, and then realize that he can't take it because his arms are in cast, and just kind of awkwardly tuck it into the edge of the cast and then leave.
I love it. This little child. Yes, and like Emmett looks very confused, but like it's like, this means something, so I will be touched, but at the same time, that is one weird kid. So yes, I love that. So yeah, you guys are set up in, and Danny kind of leans back, and he's like, oh, sorry, is this like privileged information kind of stuff?
We'll come find you when we're done.
Oh, okay. Just like steps back, shuts the door, and you can see through the window. He's hanging out in the hallway.
All right, so here's the scoop, and then
Data dump. That does not have to be repeated. Thank you.
He doesn't hold anything back in any way.
And when I was giving Emmett the once-over, I could definitely tell that something ghost-like or similar has been involved with him, has touched him in some way. It seemed to resemble Numina, one of the kind of spells that they can cast. So that tells us a little bit about the strength of the entity we're dealing with, which I guess is helpful. Drew can tell you more about what that strength actually is if they have Numina.
Well, yeah, basically all ghosts have Numina, which is just their special powers. So, some Numina, some ghosts can set things on fire, some ghosts can telekinetically throw things, some can blast you with energy, some can awe you into adoration or fear. Yeah, something though affected him.
Straight up possess people, right?
Correct. That is not necessarily a Numina, that's a manifestation, but yes.
Okay, but you did say it felt like Numina when I looked at it, right?
It was definitely a ghostly Numina. You,
okay.
As the necromancer Moros, yeah, you recognize that's my, yeah.
Okay, so it wasn't possession necessarily, it was Numina related, but some kind of mind control perhaps, or using other creatures as puppets to live out some experience?
Did he look particularly well ridden? Like this was not the first time?
Yeah, it seemed to be the first time. It seemed to be relatively brief.
Maybe.
Yeah, my first thought was maybe a Goetia or spirit of anger or something, but I didn't see anything when I looked through that lens.
Okay, so for Luca's benefit, probably not spirit of anger.
Right,
But
yeah,
there's
and
not.
to actually cover some meta knowledge, because I'm like, oh right, you guys are on this, and I realized, wait, nope, new players. So ephemeral entities come in 3 flavors: ghosts, spirits, and Goetia. Goetia are fairly rare. They're entities of mind and thought, and generally speaking, don't show up in our world. They live in the world of thought and are connected to dreams and stuff like that. So you're more likely to interact with somebody in somebody's head or in their mind or something like that. Spirits are everywhere. There's a spirit for that table. There's a spirit for that book. There's a spirit for all that. Most of them are just slumbering and dormant. They don't do anything, but they usually feed off of emotions. Those tend to be a very, very common thing. So yeah, a spirit of anger is a possibility, but because Doc used Spirit Sight, didn't see any kind of spiritual Numina or influence on Emmett, so probably wasn't a spirit. And that leaves us with ghosts. who I don't really need to tell you what ghosts are.
I see dead people.
100%.
How much would I know about? I know that there are levels of ghosts. I know that the first level is essentially just reliving their death loop over and over again, and it goes up from there. Would I necessarily know what level of ghost you'd need to be able to control someone's mind without possessing their body?
That is possible by any rank of ghost.
Okay.
Yeah, because it's not, they don't get tiers that give them new abilities. It's more of what type of ghost are they, and they're going to get related stuff. So very likely a ghost who died in, the ghost of a person who died in a fire probably has the ability to set things on fire. Somebody who, was hit by a car or had an industrial accident or something like that may have access to the gremlins thing, which messes up tools and objects.
Okay. So if he maybe died in a brawl, he could make people brawl?
Potentially. There are Numina that literally are emotional urgings is a thing as well.
Okay.
So what's the history of this prison? Was it always like a hippy-dippy Montessori prison?
That's a very good question. Whipping out your phone, you can do a, let's do an intellect plus academics roll, or something related. Actually, let me pull up.
And you can roll twice.
Oh, that's
Choose
true.
the better one.
How much potency did you give Choose the Thread?
It just has the one potency, though I believe that is, they give pretty much all the time spells potency as the primary to get it.
Right. So you have one use of that.
More use of it.
One use of what?
Doc was asking about the choose the thread thing that Saffron had done, enabling allowing Saffron to basically nudge and pick better conditions and results. So, yeah. Actually, I guess I asked you to roll that, and I realized, does Shahata have academics? Shahata does not have academics.
Shahata's not very smart.
Decently smart, but yeah, doesn't quite have academics. Let's see here.
Does she have computers?
Does not actually. What you may use is
Would investigation work?
Investigation would work, and I could also give you because obviously you're thinking about the history in terms of, has other spooky things happened? Is there, because obviously haunted prison, that's going to show up, right? Because that's kind of what you're looking for, I'm guessing.
I was just thinking more like wondering if there used to be something else here where someone could have died to make this ghost.
Yeah. Now that said, yeah, so that's definitely going to be more of a academics kind of thing. Yes, Doc?
I was thinking we could go talk to our sleepwalker friend and see if we notice a pattern of specifically violence among these strange incidents, because if that can kind of narrow it down, we might be able to narrow down what the ghost can influence.
Okay.
Yeah, talking to Holly might give us a theme, and also Holly would probably know what this prison used to be, so we could maybe kill two birds with that stone.
You want to finish your search first?
I mean, I can. I don't know if Shahata is necessarily the best person to do that.
Yeah, in this particular case, I think Shahata is the idea person. Does anybody else have intelligence plus or academics?
I have. That would be a 6 die roll for me, and I could throw willpower at it to make it 9.
Well,
so.
hold
good.
on that. The question is, especially just mechanics-wise, is anybody else decent with intellect and academics as a role? That's a head shake.
I hit things.
Okay, yeah. All up to you, Doc.
Wizard casts fist.
Cool. Yeah, so 2 successes. Quick Google search shows this place was until it was built, and looking around, this place is fairly new, late 80s. Before this, it was untended, just park. this like new construction and was built and has always been Hallow Hall Penitentiary, and was built, and it looks like with this intent in mind back in like the late 80s. Probably actually pretty close to when the warden started working here. He probably would have been one of like their first hires, to give you a kind of sense of time.
Well, now I'm suspicious of the warden.
Beware of the red herring.
I mean, it's a game in a prison. Of course, we're going to be suspicious of the warden.
Absolutely.
Right. What are the odds?
So yeah, I'm thinking we should go talk to Dr. Clark some more and maybe look over some more of her notes.
Do we want to, while we're here, do we want to talk to any of the? Well, do we want to talk to either Caden, Denny, or Leo?
They're going to be down in holding, so they'll be in a little
okay.
bit different area.
Maybe we can talk to Dr. Cross, and then we can talk to one of them on the way to get a look at the yard, because I'd really like to do that.
Okay. Dr.
good.
Clark, by the way, but I got you.
Dr. Clark, thank you.
Cool. So yeah, you guys do that little quick Google search and be like, well, that came up with nothing. Let's go talk to Dr. Clark. Bust out, and there's Danny. He's like, oh, cool. And
We would like to go talk to Dr. Clark again some more.
Okay, yeah, sure. And kind of leads you and leads down, and instead of going to those back offices, leads you down towards. You watch him like checking the time, and leads you down into like basically the general population, like lower centers. You walk through the cafeteria, which is currently empty, and to another set of rooms, and kind of looks in and checks one room and the next, and yeah, okay. Looks like Dr. Clark is. Yeah, I think she's wrapping up. Okay, yeah, she just gave me the little 1 minute finger. So yeah, just 1 sec. And she's in with another inmate. She's doing an interview, So
Did she explain her role to us at all? Is she more
She's
of
the head
like a
psychiatrist.
doctor? Okay, just she's more of a counselor than a doctor.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, she's able to do some of that stuff, but yeah, there's an actual doctor for the infirmary. We just kind of
Great.
skipped him. So yeah, after a minute or two,
I'm sure he won't matter at all.
nope. So a minute later, the inmate kind of arrives at the door, and as well as another guard who was in with Dr. Clark and the inmate and them. And yeah, can you get me? Oh, actually, I'll send somebody else to get my next interview. Hi guys. What's up?
I'd like to look over your notes again about the situation and the happenings.
Oh, sure. Yeah, Denny, can you run up and go get those? They're fine with me. They'll stay here until you get back. They're just on my desk. It's a big folder of handwritten. Okay, thanks. Danny goes off to go get those.
What did Doc ask for?
Oh, sorry. To get the Dr. Clark's notes about the different occurrences.
While we're waiting for those, can you give us just any general themes? Did they all seem to happen during like recess, for lack of a better word? Are they spread throughout?
It's spread throughout. Stuff happens in the cafeteria. Stuff has happened in the showers. Stuff has happened in some of the bunks. The library. Everywhere
in it.
Yeah, everywhere in the facility. Which that was when once I started to put stuff together. That's when I started to get very concerned because, certain behaviors in certain places, like we're used to cafeterias sometimes getting a little rowdy on like barbecue day. Like it's, so it's one of those things like I chart some of the different occurrences and who's involved, and because there are some hotheads and stuff like that, and those ones, while the occurrences are bad and but like those aren't the ones that worry me. The ones that worry me are like with Emmett.
Are all of the situations something to do with aggression, or?
No, they're not all to do with aggression. A lot of times, we've had some folks. Well, I don't know. There's some, occasional stuff with inmates getting like, severely depressed. Just a sudden, like long session of it or long occurrence of it, and then they're fine and they're over it and it's gone. So that, or we've had other weird behaviors with. We a month or two ago, just all of a sudden, for whatever reason, everybody in the cafeteria decided to go through the line backwards. I asked, the guards thought it was really funny until it was pointed out to the inmates, and they realized that they'd started at the exit line and went all the way back through the entrance, and it was a mess. They were like, it was but all of them did it for that lunch shift, and once it was pointed out, the inmates thought it was funny, but they were like, oh yeah, we didn't plan this, and it was.
Would you know if any of the staff have been affected?
No, so far I haven't seen anything with the staff, which is again another oddity.
So it has been completely confined to the inmates.
Correct. Only the inmates seem to have been affected, which is another one of the reasons why I've been concerned. I'll be honest, if something's affecting the guards or the rest of the staff, they can go home. But it's something is, and you can see it kind of hits her face, not like the crazy aggression of Emmett's, but this like mama bear thing comes out, and she's like, somebody's messing with my inmates, and I'm not happy about it.
Do you have any information on anyone new to the facility, be it inmate or staff, who came in right as this was starting?
The random occurrences, no. Based on her investigation, no.
Okay.
And she says it goes months without anything happening, and then something new happens.
How long has this been going on?
Past year, maybe. It's only recently that I've started to become concerned, because it'll be. The first event was a year ago when we had some of the inmates tussling in the shower, and which is very weird because it's a bunch of guys in the shower, and generally speaking, they all give each other plenty of space. But all of a sudden, not to be weird or crass, but then all of a sudden we had like 8 men fighting and wrestling each other in the shower, and it was very disconcerting for everybody involved. And none of them have any memory of what they were wrestling about. And I don't mean like aggressively fighting. I mean, they were what is it? WWF, WWE wrestling. They were shouting and, off the top rope, or yeah.
So it was more performative than them really trying to hurt each other, or
right,
was it
yeah.
both?
Yeah, no, it was all performative. Yeah, well, yeah, no more violence in that particular case. And yeah, this is some of the and I'm at this point, my biggest concern, like she kind of pokes her head out and looking for Danny and says, at this point, I'm wondering if there is an outside influence that is trying to mess with the cryptopoly and the prison itself, and mess with our ability to reform and help the inmates.
Wouldn't it be hard if it wouldn't be hard? No.
Sure. I mean, essentially, this is a big experiment. If inmates are shown to become more violent while they're here, more depressed while they're here, it will change.
Right. A minute later, Danny shows up with the big old stack of things, and thank you, Danny, and then pulls out and has a couple write up of like that first incident with the weird WWE wrestling kind of stuff in the showers, which, you know, a couple notes of like bumps and bruises and some, because, you know, they're tile and stuff like that. But nobody like massively hurt, but none of them remember how they started it. And they were all very like blushing face, like, I don't know what I was doing, kind of, you know, reactions. And then another event, like the, you know, walking through the line backwards happened like 3 or 4 months later. Then the next event after that, as she's kind of flipping through, and a lot of what she has in that stack is witness and well, literally eyewitness and for lack of a better term, victim reports of like what they were thinking, what they were doing, and a lot of them, you know, some of them were like, oh yeah, no, I thought it was a great idea at the time. And you know, so they didn't necessarily have the same blackout effect that Emmett had, where he just seemed to have lost all time. And then yeah.
Did the people who were tussling in the showers have the blackout effect?
No, like I said, at the time they thought it was terrific. They thought they were they basically reported that, oh yeah, no, I thought I was at WrestleMania. And I thought I could have sworn I heard a crowd, and you know, we were back and forth, and you know, but then when the guards came in and separated us out, it all just kind of snapped, and all of a sudden I was, you know, and she like, you know, she bleeds over, you know, some more expletive stuff, but it was very awkward and very like not okay, but at the same time it wasn't, and you know, it wasn't a sexual thing, but it's like it's a bunch of naked guys in a shower, so it ends up making a bunch of grown men, most of them who are hetero.
It's no more sexual than WWE already is.
That's true. But yeah, definitely some like heavy blushing of like, dude, that it was weird. But yeah.
Why did we do this?
Right. At the time, it sounded like a great idea, and afterwards, what were we doing? Especially when you talk about, you know, some of these inmates in here are, you know, older, like, you know, Emmett and stuff like that. Oh, and the other thing that she does bring up is that there's been no repeat, like, people being involved.
Okay. So one of my concerns is that at first they knew what they were doing, but they thought it was fine. Then a few months later, they didn't realize there was anything weird about what they were doing. And now it's total blackout. So at first it was suggestion, and now it's control. Something's getting stronger.
Yeah, and Dr. Clark looks at the pages and goes, "That's terrifying. You might be right."
And they seem to be getting more severe as well, because
They are
first
getting
time
more
there
severe.
was violence, it was WrestleMania, like nobody was trying to hurt each other. This time, it looked like Emmett was trying to kill that guy.
Right. Well, but then the middle one with them going backwards through the cafeteria line.
Right, and depression isn't inherently violent either. So it's almost like the entity is experimenting to see what works, and they've kind of latched on to something. But I don't. Or it's a combination of ghosts. We could have more than one. They found a fun new party trick.
Or it could be that it's not just ghosts. If someone's trying to mess with the prison, I wouldn't just take one route.
Yeah, someone could be summoning ghosts and controlling them, is what you're saying?
Well, not just ghosts.
Oh,
They
okay.
could be using spirits or even Goetia, especially since Goetia aren't as common.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. Normal mortals might recognize spirits and ghosts. Generally speaking, Goetia are so odd and uncommon that most would never, you know, you don't have mediums that see Goetia, as an example. So, but yeah, Dr. Clark kind of looks up as, you know, at the clock in the thing, and she says, I would love to keep talking with you all about this. I hope you keep investigating. Hands the paper to Doc and says, I do need to get ready for my next appointment. Go ahead, Leo. Were you needing to say something there?
Is there any way that we could get a list of inmate deaths? Those who died during
no.
incarceration here.
No, we've had no deaths currently.
No deaths.
Okay, so it's not a former inmate.
Have there been any staff deaths?
Like at the
Not
prison,
necessarily. Like it could be
Yeah.
natural causes or.
but nothing at the prison. That not that I'm aware of. I'll check my staff records when I get back to my office. But I mean, I can't think of anybody.
Well,
It
if they
wouldn't
didn't die
necessarily
here,
have to
they
have
can't.
died here. This
Okay.
just would be an important place because do you know how anchors work?
Okay, I understand what you're getting at. Yeah, I'll double check my records and see who may what staff who've worked here may have passed away in the past while. That'll take a little digging. But I mean, after this interview, I'll have some
Drop
time
it by
to
our office.
say that again.
I said drop it by our office.
You have an office?
Yeah, we have an
Danny gave
office.
us a video room.
We have the meeting room over there.
Danny kind of looks over. He's like, "That's okay, right?" Oh, actually, no. Excuse me. Danny's outside because he's definitely not listening to you guys talk about ghosts. And like Dr. Clark looks and it's like, "Yeah, okay, yeah, that'll be fine, I guess." Yeah, okay. And
Also,
yeah,
I think the way I said, "Do you know how anchors work?" came out a bit more rude than I was intending. I meant it to be more of an explanation thing than a.
right. No, I know what you meant, and I think Dr. Clark did too. But yeah, anchors. Yeah, for to explain anchors that Doc's pointing out is when ghosts die, they tend to have an anchor that is connected to the thing that is keeping them here. So if there was staff who died off site, but there was that one thing that they always wanted to do at the prison, that might be a binding point that is keeping them around. So even if they didn't die here, dying later, they may be bound to the prison. So, but yeah, so yeah, she'll check her records on that. What is your next investigative route at this point? Then I guess.
I think the next thing would probably be to like. I think we should probably go look at the cafeteria, and see if maybe we can see some influences there.
Okay.
I mean, it was a while ago, so they may have just completely faded, but
Sure.
it seems that
worth a
that
shot.
was the most.
What's the suggestion?
Going to the cafeteria and checking that place out and seeing what may have happened there. Which is, and you guys walk through the cafeteria on the way over here, so that's right there. So Dr. Clark, as like Danny knocks at the door. Really should not have named two characters so similarly. So yeah, Danny knocks at the door, and Dr. Clark waves him in and says, "Yeah, so good luck with that, and yeah, if whatever I figure out, I'll send to your office." You gave him an office, Danny? Is that okay, Doc? Yes, that's fine. I'm just. And you have an inmate.
Messing with you.
Yes. The inmate comes in, sits down once you guys leave, and shuts the door. And yeah, so you guys are there kind of in this kind of back hallway near, and tell Danny that you want to head to the cafeteria and check that out.
Yeah.
Sure.
I just realized us opening our mage site, just walking in and opening our mage site is probably going to be weird for him.
No, because Mage Sight is not visible to
Looking
other
around.
people.
Yes, but us just walking in and seemingly just looking around for nothing.
I mean, you're looking around. Why not? It is going to be odd behavior, but I mean, you all are dressed oddly anyways. One of you literally has flowers in their hair, so like this is, and one of you has the crazy wax mustache. So, yeah.
Yeah.
I just imagine
I
my
would
character's just like in a business suit.
Sure. What was that, Leo?
I'd like to cast a spell that might be able to help us here.
Okay.
I would like to choose the thread,
Mm-hmm.
and I would like to cast Interconnections, which is on page 134. It's a Fate 1 spell. I would like to. It allows me to discern possession, supernatural mind control, and alterations of destiny. And I would like to cast it instantly. and I would like to cast it with scale. I'd like everyone to put their hands together for just a moment.
Sure.
Everyone's hands in the circle. 1, 2, 3, team.
Advanced duration.
Sure.
I would like to use the Fate 2 attainment. It'll only last as long as we're in the prison.
Sure. That gives you some additional duration.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's the 3 that I'm going to need for that. And it's unveiling. Yeah, no, that'll be the 3. I have Fate 2, so that's overreaching. I'm going to use my dedicated magical tool of my coin.
Right, which means you only have 1 paradox. Sure, no problems. So yeah, go ahead and roll your Gnosis plus Fate, and what? Well, without doing any yantras, or depends on what yantras you might use.
I'd like to go ahead and use high speech.
Are you sure about that?
With Danny
Guard?
there. High speech is always an obvious casting of magic.
Yeah, no. Well, do you think my shadow name would work?
Yeah, shadow name is a persona thing. Yeah.
And in most cases, especially since this is a one-off game, it's probably going to be a gimme yantra.
Yeah.
Most
Well, and specifically
unless you're doing something that's like obviously against your.
Well, and notably, Saffron's shadow name is the Reader of the Weave. So yes, this whole that whole thing. Yep. So roll your 5 dice.
Wait, okay. Is that how that works?
Yep. Gnosis plus Arcana plus Yantra.
Oh, I thought it rolled.
Nope, sadly not. You click the quick. Yep, that works too. There you go. 4 successes. Yeah. So now you guys basically have this odd tingling, and then all of a sudden you just can see things that are connected by destiny and fate, and are linked together, not necessarily magically, but by reveals the marks of fate on people, places, and things. But you have to observe them up to 1 subject per turn. So you have to take a minute to look at different stuff, but you can see different connections on things. And specifically, because you did the extra reach, you can detect possession, supernatural mind control, and alterations of destiny. Yes, Doc.
So once he does that, are we close enough to the infirmary that with inward outward eye? Because with that, I don't worry about walls. Would I be able to see the infirmary from here?
For the sake of the one shot, we'll say yes. You can actually, see, back that way, as the whole world is, a flat plane for eyes basically. And yes, you can see Emmett, and you can see he's not currently possessed or under any supernatural mind control or alterations of destiny.
Okay, that is good to know.
Yeah, he's not about to get up and go into another berserker rage with his poor broken arms. I'm not going to pick on Emmett any farther.
Flailing his casts around. I mean,
Right.
He might do more damage to people that way.
He could. Not going to happen. So yes, you guys make your way over to the cafeteria. Yes.
Before we tromp around in here too much, can I cast Ghost Shield on everybody?
That's probably a good idea.
I would like to maybe do that.
So yes, I'm trying to remember. Do you have that? I don't think
It is not a road for me.
Okay, cool. So, very, very quickly, to walk you through the little spell template there. So we have Reach for instant,
Yes.
Advanced Duration, and
Scale.
Okay. Anything else you want to get with that Reach?
I don't believe so. Is there anything obvious that I'm overlooking? That should be fine.
Not off the top of my head. So
Okay.
yes, 3 Reach. You have 2.
There is a reach for protecting you against physical attacks. If the
Oh, that's
ghost
true.
does
Yeah, if you're
manifest.
worried about the ghost actually physically attacking you.
I would say so far not, but it seems like a good thing to add just in case if I can get there.
Yeah, you definitely can. And we'll talk about what you pay for in return, but you can definitely do that. This is not well, it is technically overreaching, but you're not beyond what you could possibly do. So yes, so you put that you with the spell template, the 4 reach, you have 2 free reach. Wait, no, 1 free reach, because it is a death 2 spell, and you have death 2.
And I have 2.
Then for Gnosis is have 1.
Is
and
1.
Your Arcana is 2. 0 penalties for potency, 0 penalties for duration, 0 penalties for scale. Yantra bonuses. What kind of things might you be trying to integrate into your casting?
So definitely Shadow Name.
Yes.
And and is it
your
Sorry?
ring would probably your dedicated tool would probably be good as well, because that also does reduce.
Yeah, I was trying to
cost.
describe in what way I was going to end up using that. Maybe just kind of twirling it around my finger to create a shield around the finger and then extending that.
I like that. Yeah, cool.
Cool.
So that would give you a 4 bonus and was also going to reduce your paradox. So cool. So yeah, that'll give you for Yantra bonus, that'll be 4.
Sweet. And nothing from other sources?
Correct. All right. So we do have some reach. So for each overreach that you have to pay up. You have to deal with some paradox. So in this case, you're overreaching by 3, and because you have low Gnosis, you have 3 paradox. But your ring deals with 2 of it, so you only have 1 paradox. We're gonna roll that. Come on, give me a nope. Okay, so nothing happens. So so at this point, now you just actually roll the spell, which because of your bonuses and all, that's 7. So you can do quick roll and just put in 7.
Is quick roll another macro that I should have?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Yes.
Quick roll.
I just went over and selected all
you
of the
just click 'em all.
macros that you put.
6 successes.
well.
Yes.
Whoa.
Okay. So 6
Dramatic
successes.
success.
Yes, it is it is an exceptional success. So you have a couple options. First off, recover 1 willpower. You haven't spent any, so it doesn't matter. And then you can basically make the spell last a bit longer by taking an advanced another step in the duration. You can get mana back, which doesn't matter. You can get
Apply a reach in the primary factor, but she's already applied advanced duration.
Yep. So at this point, you basically have you have one real option is that you are going to get a condition, which basically is going to be some kind of beneficial extra thing, and it's just generally speaking, you can use the conditions that are in the book, or in this particular case, I'm going to give you a +2 on. I'm trying to think of something that would apply for. Actually, yeah, I think we're going to give you a +2 on the next roll to defend the group. And you let me know when you want to use it. And we're not tracking XP, folks, because it's a one-shot. But
it's a one-shot. We're
right.
never using these characters again.
Right. But
is there a limit on what I can defend them with? Must it be magic? Must it be physical?
No,
must it be negotiation?
Right, because the condition is just, for whatever reason, the magic was so successful, you had this extra little bump. For OA, I use the different conditions, or sometimes I'll do like, it's a +2 to academics or something like that. And it's based on the nature of the spell. So in this case, you are protecting everybody from ghosts. So whatever, you got a +2 the next time you're protecting everybody from ghosts.
Cool, thank you.
Yep. And then normally when you use that condition, you would then get an arcane beat. We're not talking about arcane beats and XP because, again, it's a one-shot. So yes, you guys have your little huddle moment, and all clasping hands. You get interconnections from Saffron, and then Kogrim applies a ghost shield to everybody. And yeah, definitely a little peripheral mage sight. Like, okay, people are casting spells, but it's all friendly. It's all us. Okay, no big deal. And you guys make your way into the cafeteria with Denny like, what's this whole team chant thing? Okay.
Have you ever heard of a book called The Secret?
No, should I read it? Anyways, moving on. You guys make your way into the cafeteria. And to not belabor the point, because this is a one-shot and we have limited amount of time, looking around the cafeteria, there's really nothing supernatural going on. There's no leftover residue, like Doc had mentioned. It was a while ago when anything happened in the cafeteria. And Danny kind of gives you a tour of the sitting area and back behind where the inmates help serve food and stuff like that, and poke around in the kitchens. And he's like, yeah, no, we keep everything clean in here. The inmates are really great about it. They really like getting kitchen detail, believe it or not, because some of them, well, the ones who request kitchen detail, have, they're working on being cooks, and they get these little meetings. It's really fun to watch them. But yeah, and you guys kind of tour around, and yeah, the cafeteria does not have anything connecting up with, especially because of Saffron's spell, that would connect and link up weird destinies and connections to different people, and nothing like stands out.
So when we looked over the notes, it was like completely random places, right? Was there any place that seemed to be more of a hot spot than others, just in general?
Nope. All over, everywhere, and like I said, that was Dr. Clark's realization when she started to look at stuff and realize it's happening all over the prison, but it's only happening to inmates. Nothing's picking on the staff. That was when she realized, okay, all these individual things could be odd occurrences and coincidences, because this is the world of darkness and weird things do happen. But this many different things, different ways happening in different places, and it's picking on her inmates, she just wasn't happy. She's the one who reached out to the hierarch. So at this point, just to give a little DM heads up, the most recent event is probably the thing to focus attention on.
Yeah, I would like to go get a look at the yard.
Yeah.
All right.
Hey, that was going to be my next
Cool.
suggestion as well. We should probably go to the yard.
All right,
because
yeah.
That would probably be the best place.
So you guys decide the yard it is, and Danny's like, cool. I think some inmates might be out there, so best behavior, all of you, and kind of struts off and kind of leads you guys down the hallways out to the yard, which is basically out back side of the long side of the prison, and steps out, and it's a fairly large space. There's several basketball courts, a soccer field, or probably like half size soccer field, some different like exercise equipment and workout stuff, some climbing ropes, and then of course that big dirt track, do you actually light up, sir? Okay.
Like an American Spirit or something.
Sure. Yeah. Danny kind of coughs and gives you a look, but okay. Looks out and
Wait, is he smoking now?
yes,
It's a prison. I'm sure probably not the only person smoking.
probably not.
Shauna's just gonna be like, those are really bad for you.
I know for a fact this is not how I'm going to die.
I don't know.
Fair enough.
Time 3, yeah, you might be able to look into some. Yeah.
Divination is time 1.
Yep. Danny and
He's going to kill me. More than likely, not before something else does.
So, as you guys kind of look around, and there are inmates out there, and there are other folks kind of jogging on the track, some folks playing basketball. It's fairly energetic, and Danny actually kind of leans over to you guys and says, actually, yeah, that's right where it happened. And you can see three guys kind of leaned up against a wall nearby, one of who's got a small cast, not a cast, got some bruises, some kind of big band-aids over an arm and stuff like that, and see who, based on description, is probably Denny, Caden, and Leo. And they're sitting and chatting, hanging out. Notably, just for the sake of the one shot, we are going to say that Mage Sight lasts a lot longer than it normally does.
Yeah, I was gonna put it on again. So
Perfect. Thank you for that. Yes, immediately.
Especially since you can do it for free.
That's true. Yeah, and you, Kogrim, especially, especially the guardian of the group, kind of steps out first, I imagine, and kind of, right, and kind of looks around, and yep, everybody's alive, everybody's got their soul. That's a ghost floating over Denny.
Oh. I'm going to very quickly and subtly cast Speak with Dead on the group so that they can then, I believe, see it too, right? They can see anything manifested or in the twilight.
Mm-hmm. All right. So very quickly, because we can you use Ghost Shield previously, we can actually use that as a basis. You have 2 reach, and you don't need the extra reach for
the physical defense.
But otherwise, everything else applies. So we're dealing with 3 reach, 2 free
Control as well.
Oh yes, and yeah. So you will because you're holding Ghost Shield and casting another spell. You actually have a little bit of, so you're actually at 2 extra reach, which again it's not fine, or is fine. Isn't going to be a problem. And then you can probably use the same yantra bonuses using your shadow name and your ring. And if you want, we can add the extra bonus of that +2. Because hey, I'm going to defend everybody by letting them know and see this ghost, or you can hang on to it for the future.
I think I'd like to hang on to it just in case things get a little more hairy.
Cool. Which fortunately means for us, I'm just going to roll. Whoops, actually, I don't need to roll at all because you are using your thing and you're not overreaching by a ton. You're only overreaching by 2, which is covered by your dedicated magical tool. So you're actually just rolling the same thing, so it's another 7 dice.
Chance die, right? For Paradox still?
Oh, you are correct. Yes, it is a chance.
Oh, let's see how that goes.
Now I get
closer.
Now I get an 8, but it doesn't help me any. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Oh, it did not work. Is there
Okay.
something I can do to fix that?
No, you can cast again, but and you can literally just like and I just can't get the spell to form.
And I'm back.
Good. And just once it fails and you can do it, so you can try again. The thing being, because you've provoked Paradox once already, now there's additional Paradox. So instead of this being a chance die, it'll be a real 1d10.
Okay,
Good.
so this one would have to be 8 or higher instead of just a 10.
Mm-hmm.
You could burn one of your mana.
That's true. That is another way of dealing with Paradox. Thank you, Leo. You can give up mana to counter points of Paradox. So, and it at max you can reduce stuff down to chance die. You have 10 mana, so you have plenty. Or you can
This
just
is a one-shot.
Yeah, and come on, it's 1d10. What's the chances of anything bad happening?
One
And actually,
Getting
to
nothing
be
over an 8 on 7 die.
to be very very fair, there's very little danger of anything bad happening.
Yeah. I mean, I can always just contain it if I need to, right?
Correct. Which actually is the question I should be asking. Are you going to contain or release? And you're saying you're going to contain it.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. And are you going to spend that mana or not?
I am going to spend that mana.
All right. So this is still a chance die. Come on, give me a 10. Okay. Whatever.
Phew.
Yeah, and for those of you who are at home, even if I was to manage to roll a 10 and finally get a success on Paradox, even then, Kogrim then rolls Wisdom to basically contain the Paradox within himself, and he gets that, the badass, 11 from Stranger Things, a little bit of a nosebleed, or, some weird bruising and stuff like that, as, oh, no, I'm just going to hang on to this, and it still does nothing, so... But in this case,
even if he fails, Paradox doesn't get to mess with the spell if he contains.
correct. Yeah, it's just going to mess with Kogrim instead of the spell. And now go ahead and roll that 7d10 again.
All right. This
There's
time I
the
got 2 successes.
And
Okay.
so, yes, just like that, all 3 of you, well, all 4 of you, but the 3 of you, all of a sudden, whoop, eyes open, and floating over Denny. Well, I say floating. More like looming heavily is a lumberjack looking, like massive. Well, not. I'm sorry, I say lumberjack. That's just my default. But let's say bodybuilder sized gentleman who's just kind of leaning over Denny and just watching him. There's this kind of like very like hungry, not like vampire hungry, but just like this need kind of expression. And the gentleman who you guys are seeing as a ghost, obviously, but looks to be dressed in like colonial American attire, down to even like a little, little bit of long hair and a little ribbon, the long trousers and nice like kind of workman, possibly, depending on how good your anthropology and old history classes are, somewhere in that like merchant middle class looking guy, but face is definitely like twisted up in like this manic glee as he's looking at the thing, and then it looks up over at the four of you watching you.
And I just cast Incognito Presence so we could talk to the ghost without everyone thinking we're completely insane.
Okay, so a note about Incognito Presence. Terrific plan. You are going to disappear effectively to everybody else, including Denny, the guard that you're walking with. While this is not a problem, it is a complication, not a complete don't do this. But yeah.
Do you think we should try to get Danny to bring Denny to our office?
I think we could just wipe his mind when we're done.
We can't wipe the mind of everyone in this yard.
No, but just the guy who matters.
Hey, even the incarcerated matter.
That said,
none of these fuckers matter, and I was one of them.
that said, you're the one guy I gave you gave you a player who could wipe minds. You guys didn't bring him.
It's okay. I very specifically built it so I didn't have those powers.
So yeah, your thoughts as this ghost is definitely like eyeing you guys up. How much he can actually see of you, you're not 100% sure, but
I'm gonna very obviously pretend that I do not see him.
Cool. For the heck of it, let's roll some manipulation plus subterfuge. How subtle can you be not making eye contact with this obvious threat, Mr. Martial Artist?
Not very. I've got 2 in manipulation and 0 in subterfuge.
So roll 1d10, please.
Oh my god.
At least it's not a chance die.
Well, you saw how well that worked for me. Nope.
Nope.
Yeah, and so I think Kogrim is just, kind of, and just keeps coming back and yeah, it's bad, and the ghost kind of shifts and moves and just kind of walks through Denny and the other two, and kind of moving closer, and then gets to a spot kind of midway into the yard that doesn't look like it's willing to cross and get closer. But it kind of steps up and like it's at it looks like a dog at the end of its leash, and it's plants its feet right and kind of looks in.
Well, those are 2 different things. Does it look like it will not cross the line? Does it look like it's being held back?
It looks like it's not crossing a line, but there doesn't seem to be an obvious line on the ground or anything like that.
Okay.
Hey, Danny, you want to smoke?
Danny's like, I'm good. Now, hang on. To clarify, are you talking Denny or Danny? We're going to change something.
Danny, yeah. Dude, it's,
Hang on. We're going to change this real quick. Daniel or Denny?
Danny the prisoner.
Okay. So do you guys come over to him then?
No, I'm holding it up, trying to, like, if you want it, you gotta come here.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah. So, yeah, you call out to him, and he looks, and, like, there's some, conversation back and forth, and he kind of shrugs and, pats the guys on the arm and then starts walking over. And as he starts walking over, the ghost also starts to walk closer.
So it's something Denny has on him.
It seems so. So yeah, as Denny is getting closer, so is the ghost. The ghost, though, is about, we'll say 10 feet ahead of Denny.
Throw it at him.
Okay.
Yeah.
Denny looks down at the cigarette, looks completely uninterested in it, and goes, "Who the hell are you?"
Why, I'm Saffron Redwood. Thief extraordinaire. Gentlemen.
Don't say that in the prison.
I can't see your video right now, but I really hope you're like twirling your mustache.
Should be. And, who is this joker? And just throws you the bird and then just like walks it back over, and you watch as the ghost, as Denny starts to walk backwards, the ghost like has a mad scramble and expression and starts to back and very quickly backpedal, and like it looks very irritated that it's having to walk backwards and kind of step back. It doesn't look like it's being pulled. It looks like he's trying to stay close to Denny. Doesn't look like there's some like pulling force. And
So
good.
we've got to get Denny alone, maybe even somewhere outside.
Do you think that maybe we could ask the doctor to call Denny in for a special meeting and then be there to speak with him?
I don't love the idea of putting her in harm's way, but it's better than trying to do it out here.
Hey, Daniel, is there any way we can get him separated for a round of questioning without involving the doctor, or do we need her permission?
I mean, you're questioning him, not questioning him, right? Because I'm gonna have a problem with that.
No, we won't lay a finger on him. If he wants to talk to his lawyer, well, let him walk.
Yeah.
Scout's honor.
Hang on. Grabs his radio and calls up. Hey, Mr. Bobby. The investigators want to talk to Denny privately. Are we okay with that? Yeah, whatever they want. Daniel kind of gives you guys this new look of like, who the hell are you? And goes, yo, yeah, hang on. And walks over across the yard right by the ghost, and to a section of fence that looks like it's separated out for like people who are like allowed yard time but are kept from general populace, and opens up the thing and points over at Denny. Hey, Denny, I don't want to take you inside because it's still your yard time, but these guys want to chat with you. You mind coming over here and just hanging out? Otherwise, we got to take you inside. And Denny looks up from his conversation with the other two guys. Daniel, why are you giving me credit? Dude, it's just... And they have a little back and forth, and then Denny's like, fine. Walks over and like steps into... And it's a large, area, but it's just grass and the fence. It's fence and fenced over top and stuff, and walks inside and kind of, leans up against, the fence as you guys walk over, and the ghost is between you guys because he's over, at least in my imagining. You walk in the gate, Denny has moved to the far end of it, and because of course Denny knows he's supposed to keep space, and Daniel pulls the gate shut and is on the inside of it with you guys, and goes, okay, yeah, this way everybody can talk. Denny keeps his yard time. I think this works, right? Everybody, yeah, good.
Sure.
I'm thinking that now would probably be a better time to cast it since nobody's really paying attention to me. I'm probably like at the corner, and I could talk to the ghost while everyone else talks to Denny. Or I could have someone else talk to the ghost and cast it on them, but not like we can communicate that right now.
Right.
Without sounding crazy.
And real quick, as I pull up stuff, and mostly because I'm double checking, because Luca's been over there and hasn't cast a spell yet, so I'm going to see if there's an excuse for to make Luca cast a spell.
I've been keeping an eye on it, but I haven't really seen any opportunities.
Right. I am trying to remember here. I got to pull out the right character sheet and make sure
I've got healing, something to command spirits, something that's like disguise self, see into the future.
And those are the spells that Luca is very good at, but Luca technically has access to just about everything in the book for several different things. So I was trying to see if we can get sneaky here. I don't think we're gonna have that. We're gonna have that luck necessarily. Nope, not with that.
You could fill him with like sleepiness or like.
Yeah, you could actually. Yeah, you could actually use life to kind of nudge Daniel into a little bit of a sleepy time.
But for Daniel or Denny?
Daniel.
Okay.
Yeah, I feel like Denny's got to know something's going on, so maybe
Well, it's
talking
hard.
to it in front of him isn't bad.
Yeah. So, well, let me
Actually,
hold that back. Go ahead, Doc.
have another idea.
Mm-hmm.
I could use mental scan to see if he is connected to the supernatural at all.
You could use mental scan to see if he's if he's tied to the supernatural. You could do that. Go ahead and roll that up because I don't.
Dot mind.
Yeah, I don't have to walk you through that, fortunately. But Luca, just to bring back, because like I said, this is all about the newbies. Is there a spell or a thing that you would like to be able to do to Danny, or technically the ghost, though you're going to have a hard time doing that?
I don't know.
Okay, and that's fine.
I do not know what the full range of options are. So.
Well, and that's what I'm saying. If you give me a broad target, I can bring it in and actually tell you what you could do within that. Because yeah, basically the purview of life, which is what Shahata is really good at, has anything to do with healing, disease, food, animals, plants, evolution, metamorphosis, physicality, and vigor. So if it falls anywhere in that range, you have the ability to manipulate and mess with stuff. So yeah, and it's something to think about. Like I said, if you're chilling, that's cool. I'm just making sure if you have anything that comes to mind, let me know.
That was supposed to be a potency penalty, not a scale penalty.
Oh, that's fine.
I just put it in the wrong place.
That's fine. And what are you casting again, Doc?
Mental scan.
Okay, cool. So you're overreaching by 1. And
I will be containing it.
Okay, and are you using your? Because you're not using your. You're definitely not using your dedicated magical.
I'm not pulling out my knife in the middle of a prison yard. Not without incognito presence up.
Tell me what you're thinking.
wiggle. Okay, no, Doc. Yeah, you can go ahead and roll your mental scan. Which, as I'm reading
and
this,
I did throw a willpower at it.
Right. So that's 3 minus 2. Which is
7.
1 plus. Yep. Cool. All right. So, mental scan.
I believe it has a withstand, which is why I added that potency.
Right. By default, it has. How much mind do you have?
I have 2.
Okay. Right. That's right there in front of me. Derp.
So
you have 3 potency. And yeah, he depending on his composure. So yes, you may ask your first question.
Is the target connected to the supernatural?
That is not one of the questions. Now, do you mean are they supernatural?
Yes.
Denny is not supernatural.
Do I have another question?
You do not. Denny has 2 composure. So your 3 potency. It gets you only 1 question. But yeah, Denny kind of looks over as Eyes is over here kind of manipulating, and all of a sudden it's like, okay, yeah, well, he's not supernatural. And Denny goes, what? Like, I'm sorry, but Emmett came at me first, man. Like, you're not pinning this on me.
We're not trying to pin this on you. We're trying to figure out what happened.
Okay.
I'm gonna say, so how long have you been here? but instead of looking at Denny, I'm gonna look right at the ghost.
Oh, we're gonna sixth sense this shit. I love it. So yeah, Denny's like, I mean, you've got that in my record. As the ghost kind of looks over at Denny, lets Denny answer and says, I'm new.
We're just trying to make sure there's no discrepancy in the record.
What did you do to get yourself here? Straight at the ghost.
I love this. This is the best.
It's hard to think of them too. Like,
right.
what can I ask?
So Denny, Denny says, you know, I used the computer, moved some money around, tried to hook myself up for life, and the ghost kind of looks over at Denny and says, he's got something of mine. He brought me here.
Where were you before this?
Like, Denny definitely looks. He was like, in New York. Where the hell else would I be? The ghost, you know, looks over and like is actually like, there's a bit of amusement as he's like, this is kind of impressive. But looks you up and down and says, well, actually, yeah. You know, I was, hold please, I gotta remember. Oh yeah. No, I had a bit of, I had a nice spot of land in an old park.
By the way, you guys can all hear everything the ghost is saying as
Right.
well. So if you can think of any questions like that, feel free to jump in.
No, leave it on Miati. It's more fun this way. Please don't pick on your fellow players.
It's fun, but it's also very nerve-wracking.
I'm sure that your recent experiences have been unsettling. Is there anything we can do to help you?
And I think this, especially Shahata being the lovely cinnamon roll that he is, and just being so sweet, and this guy, the big ghost, kind of looks down and says, "Ain't nothing let's be honest. He's colonial American. There's nothing unsettling about my experience." And Denny's like, I mean, I'm doing okay. I kind of feel bad for the guy, but
So otherwise, it sounds like you're having fun here then?
not really. It's prison, and the ghost just grins and smiles and nods.
Oh, I don't like him.
Did you think you were supposed to?
I was sympathetic at first. I've dealt with some lovely ghosts.
Sure.
I mean, there are some good ghosts out there, but
There
this one
definitely
is
Um,
probably going to need like some exorcist action.
Right. One thing I am going to remind you, mostly because as we are getting close towards the end of our time here, one of the things that you were told to investigate and figure out what was going on. You didn't necessarily have to resolve anything. So just that little reminder. That said, you were told if you can fix it, fix it. But just a reminder.
I definitely want to, but all I could do right now would be too flashy, and that would be make the necromancer disappear so that she can mess with the ghosts. So if we could, I kind of motioned to see if we can kind of get his attention off of Kogrim so that necromancer can do necromancer's thing.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, just in case that goes poorly, I love that. Before you do that,
What was
I'll ask
the
one
plan?
more question.
Sure, keep talking.
Sure.
Doc is suggesting basically making Kogrim invisible, so Kogrim can go be a badass necromancer and deal with a ghost, but not quite just yet. Is what I'm getting here. So,
Well, I have one last question, which is, so do you have a lot of friends here? And I'm doing it before I go invisible because I want everyone to be able to hear it. In case I don't get out, they can communicate that back.
And so the ghost, shakes his head. He's like, no, not that I've found yet. Denny's like, yeah, I've got a couple buddies. So one thing I am going to pause real quick, because this is something that as a Moros and a Necromancer, you definitely know. that, especially the way. Actually, I'm not going to say that. Could you roll intellect plus occult? And any of you are welcome to do so. To kind of draw up like what information you know about the supernatural and what you're dealing with here. This is a fairly common thing, so there's no negatives. It's just a flat intellect plus occult roll.
Intelligence plus occult?
Power
Yes,
at it.
thank you.
I'm gonna throw
I've got
because I've got lots of willpower.
2
and
intelligence
have no
and
use
3
for it.
occult. How am I gonna roll this? I haven't actually rolled yet this game.
Oh, there is the you can click the quick roll and just put in that case 5. Intellect plus occult should give you right. Yes.
I think she did the same thing that Weird does.
Weird does all the
Keep your
time.
time in there.
Yeah. Well. So Fizz, Leo, you'll need to re-roll that because you rolled intellect, occult, time, and your willpower.
And willpower.
Oops.
Yeah. Like I said, you can just do the quick roll and. Oh, there you go. Cool. So all of you have successes, which means all of you know Denny somewhere on his person has this ghost anchor.
Wouldn't the Speak with Dead allow us to see anchors?
Yes, if you could see it. So
My death sight does as well.
correct.
So.
Yes, so it's likely something in like his pockets or jumpsuit or something like that. You cannot visibly see it right now. He's not wearing some necklace. So Denny probably has something on him that.
Have you gotten a hold of anything that you might find interesting lately?
The
On
ghost,
your person?
right? And the ghost like is confused because
And
all
this
these
is clearly
right, yeah.
directed at
No, I know. The ghost is like has been used to all these back and forth things that are about him, and then he kind of looks and then snaps his head back to Denny, and he's like, oh no. Denny is like, I mean, yeah, there's this old whatever. You can confiscate it and pulls a like old like really tarnished silver ring and says, yeah, there, whatever. Right, and
Here.
throws it over, and the ghost goes, oh, terrific, and follows over to it.
I give Denny the rest of my pack of cigarettes.
Sure. As the ghost,
Ghost business.
what?
Uh,
No. I missed what you said.
I literally just walk over. I'm like, sorry about that. Ghost business. No kind of question.
and Denny looks very, very confused. And Daniel actually kind of steps over. Hey, whoa. Let's. You can give him the cigarettes. That's fine. Whatever, man. Are you guys done talking to him as the ghost walks towards Kogrim as you pick up the ring and kind of looks over and says, you look like a fighter. Let's see what you can do. I need you. Now, fortunately, you have your ghost shield, so that is also going to help.
Clash of Wills.
Yes. So basically, the ghost is throwing a power at you, which normally he would just have to roll successes on, which we're going to see if he even succeeds in activating this power. He probably will. But because you have Ghost Shield, you will also provide a Clash of Wills where it says, you can't mess with me. So we'll see.
Because you are a mage, you can throw willpower at it, and very much recommend, because we are close to the end of our time. I would use willpower.
What was that, Leo?
No, I think if I was going to... No, that's fine. I don't want to slow it down.
Cool. So he rolls to activate his Numina. He gets some successes.
Oh.
Now, that said, it flashes out and you feel and probably even see him using some kind of power. His eyes kind of light up. There's this almost like berserker violence that just kind of wells up or starts to, and that's where your ghost shield comes in. So you now need to have a Clash of Wills with him, which is going to be your Gnosis plus death. And like Doc was saying, you can throw willpower at that, so that would be a +3. Yes, Leo?
Can I go ahead and cast Exceptional Luck?
I don't think you can cast that reflexively.
I can with +2 reach and a point of mana.
Whew. Okay, go ahead and write that up. No. Sorry. That exceptional luck will not apply to a Clash of Wills.
Even if I allow it to cast spellcasting rolls?
Correct, because it's not a spellcast roll. This is sheer power. Yeah, thank you. But yes, that is a very, very fun fate trick. Doesn't particularly apply here. Now, backtracking a little for Ghosts. So you have it for a day. So you also have a +1 on it. So yes, you'll roll your Gnosis, plus Death, +4 if you're doing your Willpower.
All right, so that's 7 total.
Yep.
I can count. Well, not as good.
Okay, now bear in mind, that's not what you're rolling against. He now is going to roll his influence plus his rank. He is a rank 2 ghost, and he only has 2 influence in his anchor, which you are holding. So he only gets 4.
Okay.
Everybody at home, send us your power. Hopefully not, because I'd love to see Kogrim have to punch somebody. No. So yes. So yes, 1 success, which means that he throws his power at you, this big grin. You feel your ghost shield kind of flicker, and Kogrim is a big guy, but he's a martial artist and is more dex than sheer brawn. So I'm sure you're looking up at this guy, and I mean, what kind of response do you give when this guy throws his big whammy and it just kind of bounces off?
I mean, he did talk some trash. So I'm standing there in a very no form position. I'm just going to circle my right foot back in the dirt and square off. Not raise fist yet,
Right.
but just come at me.
And the ghost...
Is there any way I can cast my spell that increases physical attributes for someone else? Or since there's normal humans here, would that be noticeable?
So the way spell work with normal humans, we call them sleepers, is basically it's a question of, is it an obvious casting of magic? That is either your actual casting method or the effect it has. So like these ghost shields and the ability to speak with dead, none of that has been visible. And everybody's been careful about what spells they've been using. In this case, absolutely yes. You totally can. And if I remember correctly, I think that is one of your rotes, one of the ones that is already not saffron. I don't need saffron. Shada, there we are. Honing the perfected form. If you want, you can just literally click the that red dice thing and roll it. And just to make things easy. And just let me know, do you want to increase Miani's strength, dex, or stamina?
Strength?
Sure. So click the big red button. We'll see where this goes. Mostly going to just cut that down so we get as much as we can in time.
I mean, at this point, we could take the anchor and leave.
It brings up a pop-up window that says input value with a box that says modifiers.
Oh, are you adding any bonuses? In this case, if you want to add willpower, you could you can put a 3 in there.
Sure.
Because again, it's a one-shot. 5 successes. Okay. Yes. And athletics as a rope mudra tends, so Shahata is over here kind of flexing some muscles and, psyching, thinking through bodily athletics kind of stuff. That's the focus that a rope mudra is. And yeah, with 5 successes, it's an exceptional success, similar to what Miani got earlier. So you can increase Miani's strength even further, or actually that's the big one. Otherwise, you can get some mana back or give a condition to yourself.
Yeah, we'll just make Kogrim really strong.
Cool. We're gonna play a little fast and loose here with the rules because we didn't do the whole write up. I'm gonna have you just go ahead and deduct 1. Never mind, you don't even need to deduct the mana. Nope, actually yes. Go ahead and deduct 1 mana. Sorry, I'm waffling. Basically, there's an option in Honing the Form that allows you to basically allow people to go superhuman with the bonuses that you give. Because Miani, if I remember correctly, Kogrim has 3 strength.
He has, yes, 3 strength, 4 dex.
And Shahada, with just a little pat on the shoulder, gave an additional 4. For those of you at home, a normal super-powered Captain America has 5 strength. Kogrim currently has 7.
Gonna punch everything.
Punch that ghost into the atmosphere.
Are we allowed to songbird this ghost?
Luca, I'm going to ask, and I appreciate, punch that ghost in the atmosphere is very, very good. For some of the folks who are listening online, because they've said that they're going to troll, could you please say yeet them into space?
I don't know if I can bring myself to
That's
say
fine.
that.
Come on, Luca.
Into
Do it for the vine.
It's fine.
Into the Yeetosphere.
Because we have one of our players who is the punchy wizard, and his go-to is, yes, I'm going to yeet somebody into space. Though he does it by literally using force magic to reverse gravity and send them literally into space.
Oh, I didn't know Songbird was here. Hey, Songbird.
Hi, Songbird.
Songbird promised trolling, so we're not paying attention. We're not watching chat. Who cares?
I'm watching chat
Okay.
because I have friends in chat.
But yes, so with that, and again, we're going to play a little fast and loose here with some of these rules, because we're here to talk about Mage and not necessarily how do you play Chronicles of Darkness. While Daniel has walked over to Denny and Saffron, kind of separating them out, you have this moment here between you and the ghost. If we were in initiative order, the ghost is just gone, and now you have a moment to respond after Shahata just gives you a little pat on the back and says, "Go kick his ass."
Perfect.
So yes,
Go ahead. Can we meta for a moment?
Absolutely.
Because Doc did say we can just take the anchor and leave, and that is absolutely a possibility. I don't need to beat up this ghost in front of a bunch of humans.
Well, they can't
Sleepers.
see the ghost.
Correct.
That they can see me, and it's going to look weird.
Visibility, though.
What's your matter?
Matter is 3.
You can just
Oh.
destroy the anchor.
Okay, a note, and very, very good idea. The anchor destroyed is going to send the ghost into a panic because he's not going to disappear to the underworld. He's going to have a slow draw over the next couple hours and days that is going to draw him into the underworld. The anchor keeps him here, but it's literally like an anchor. It stops him from moving, not, is literally here. But it is a good threat. So that is also a good point. So yes, you have in your hand this anchor, which I imagine clenches into a fighting stance fist. And so, yeah, you do know as Amoros, this ring, if it were destroyed, this guy would slowly slip and eventually get drawn into the underworld, which is a very, very bad place. There is no Elysium. There's no happy little Hades going to give you a little spot. It just sucks. Or, of course, you can just punch him. Or you can continue negotiating. Your choice. But yes, we can totally get meta. You can ask all the questions you want.
So if I do threaten to destroy the anchor, what's the plan? Get him in an Uber with us and take him back? I mean, it's doable.
I mean, I'm sure the Mysterium has some place we could lock him up nearby.
Yeah, the Mysterium possibly.
We could put him to work. Do you like books?
Turn him into a librarian? Yeah, maybe.
I know there's probably not a lot of free council presence in New York.
There's a decent amount of free council in New York. They tend to be the biggest order. But yeah, I mean, and that's one of those things, like, we take this guy back to New York City and decide what to do with him. Right now, it's the question of what do you do with him now? So, go ahead.
I think knowing all that, I would just, kind of flex a little bit and show him how much bigger my arms are getting, and then just hold the ring like this and threaten to push down.
Oh, I like that. Okay. Now, are you going to say something with that? Maybe even just under your breath kind of thing, like behave or something like that, and we make this an intimidation? Okay.
You're going to want to stand down.
So let us definitely do, and because we're flexing our strength, we're going to use strength plus intimidation, because why not? And that is a 7. And intimidation.
Just for fun, can I throw in that +2 since I'm defending the group?
Why not? Sure. So Oh, what was that, Leo?
Willpower.
Sure, let's make a huge dice pool. So we're at 7.
7, 9. Well, I'll have an 11.
This is like the climactic roll for our one shot here, I think.
True, it's true.
Okay, I'll throw a willpower at it. So it goes from 11 to a 14.
14. Now, here's the thing. We hope we don't get a Songbird roll, because Songbird has rolled 0 successes on like 18 before, so...
Oh my god, okay.
Exceptional luck can be cast reflexively with that mana.
Well, let's not draw out adding...
Yeah. I think she's got it.
Okay, let's see what happens.
Got it.
Songbird said that too.
5 successes. There we go. Which is also
Dramatic
a
success.
exceptional success, which means you can apply a condition. I'm going to say that you apply some kind of cowed or beaten down condition,
Yeah.
where this big guy eyeing you up and goes, "Okay, let's not do anything hasty here. Yes, sir. I'm your loyal and humble servant. Don't mess
Not
over
good
the ring."
far.
Meanwhile, Daniel and Danny have, kind of separated, and Daniel, is kind of putting himself and protecting Denny from you guys. Do you guys have any other questions for Denny?
We're good.
I think we're good.
All set.
All right, cool. You guys get out of here. And Denny, I'm sorry. I don't know what... The warden has me showing these guys around, and they've been asking all sorts of questions, kind of escorts you guys out as this ghost kind of plods quietly along right behind Kogrim, and you can see on his face, he definitely wants to make a move and get at the ring, but knows right now, he doesn't have a shot. But he's making plans, kind of thing. Cool. So your next steps, as we kind of get into a wrap up here.
I think we should probably take this ring as far away from here as possible.
Take the ring as far away from here as possible. We will take it to Mount Doom and throw it.
I was trying so hard not to, and then you did.
I will make those puns. I will do that. Yeah, I will make those references. Okay.
One
So
does not simply walk into Mordor, though.
no, we get an Uber. So I think you guys then probably go and report into Dr. Clark of what you found. Okay.
Yep.
We would
definitely tell her
definitely
that.
grant the information about the rest of the hauntings to take with us anyway.
Right. You guys make your way up to Dr. Clark's office, who's over there getting together a bunch of stuff of, different staff, and looks up and goes, "Oh, hey, welcome. Yeah, I heard that you were, Bobby said that you were chatting with Denny. Did you guys get anything?"
Yeah, we got something.
Oh, okay, cool. What are we looking at next then? I'm still compiling staff for you. A couple more minutes.
It looks like that we are alone enough that
It's you guys in the office. Yeah.
Okay. Denny had a hold of a rank 2 ghost's anchor.
Okay, that's bad. Sure. No, we definitely don't need ghosts haunting the.
Kogrim
prison.
has it now. We'll be taking it with us.
Okay, cool. Yeah. Take the ring, and do you think that's the? Was that
As far as the ghost knows, he was the only one causing trouble here. If anything else does happen, and I pull out a business card that has my
your sleeper
it's
name?
supposed to be a cybersecurity.
Sure.
Yeah, it's a sleeper name, but it's a cybersecurity assistance firm. They help people figure out what the weaknesses are.
Sure. Yeah, and so she's like, "Okay, we'll take that and give you a call, I guess. If something else happens."
I guess I'll try to get in touch with these guys if something else keeps happening.
Sure.
So,
We're going to be sending another crew up here to clean out the area where Denny did find this ring, just in case there's anything else like it. So if you could get out of him exactly where that was by the time we get back, but please don't go there yourself.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So Denny found something?
He found a ring in the woods, I guess.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, there's an old park that he and some other inmates were doing a work detail on part of working with some of the local townships and stuff like that, doing some renovation projects. So I would bet that's where he found it. So okay,
Yeah, no more work details until we get a handle on.
yes, sir. I can arrange that.
I would also recommend that you take out those who attended them and see if they picked up any objects.
Any other objects? Okay, yeah,
And
I can do that.
Try to have someone with the Death Arcana look at them before they're returned.
Okay, yeah, or maybe Kogrim can come back and help things out. Okay.
Why, Holly?
All right. Yeah. Wow. There was a ghost. Okay. But
it's a prison. Come on.
well, yeah, I know, but okay. Cool. Do you think that's going to be the end of it?
Probably not.
Probably. I mean, the ghost said that there weren't any others that he knew of.
Right. And okay. Well.
It's
Yeah.
probably not going to be the end of weird shit in general, but
Sure.
at least this chapter of it is closed.
Right. So
If anything else happens, you've got people you can call.
Right. So she nods. She's like, "Okay, yeah, I'll let the hierarch know, and you all report whatever weird magic-y stuff you guys see and saw. And okay, yeah, maybe this will be the end of it. But if there's more, I'll reach out. And then you guys are escorted out, and the warden who comes, kind of pokes his head out. Oh, you guys are leaving? Everything go out all right?
Everything's fine.
Glad. Yeah, good, clean bill of health. That's what I want to hear. All right. You guys make your way out and drive back to New York City with this ghost hanging on to the back of the car. I don't know how. He's just.
If there's a
dragged
free seat, I'll let him sit in the car.
Yeah, you guys call the large Uber, I can't remember, the Uber XL or whatever, and just there's that one seat that nobody's sitting in. Yeah, and so you guys return.
Is Kogrim still super strong by this point?
Based off of my quick math of reach, it's probably actually a very short duration spell. To get that much oomph, you'd have to do it shorter, or vice versa. But yeah, that said, Kogrim has done a lot of death stuff, but making something melt into nothingness is actually Kogrim's specialty. Kogrim can destroy that ring in a blink of an eye. So yeah, Kogrim's got this lad, Cyrus Parker under control.
Kogrim's more of an alchemist than a...
Yeah,
Oh
than
yeah,
an
I guess we
alchemist.
never found out.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, no, yeah, imagine the Uber guy listens as you guys do the double question thing as you talk with the Uber driver who is absolutely hating you guys and the ghost at the same time. So where are you from? And that, I think, is where we will end our one shot. This was an absolute blast, guys. I hope you had fun. Obviously, Mage, and this is some of how I play. Mage is not necessarily a horror game in the heavy emphasis of terrible things happening, except when it is, which is the thing I like. It's much more detective and investigative, and some of the stuff you get, especially later on, you get into I'm going to do this thing, and then you have to deal with the consequences of those magical things. For instance, actually, one of the things Thyrsis, what Shahata is, or anybody with life magic can do, is they can create brand new life with all the terror that entails. Diseases and plagues and weird monstrous animals that shouldn't exist. Mind mages like Eyes can create literally a thinking, living entity, an object or a creature of pure thought that is immediately loyal, and that's not including even what Fate and Time Mages can do, because yes, they can time travel, and yes, they don't deal with time paradox. Once they've changed something, that's it. They are capable of going back and killing their own parents, and they're fine. Like they continue to exist.
Oh wait, and not even the fact that they don't have to time travel to affect the past with their magic. They can just cast temporarily.
Yeah, there are some spells where it's like I need
your past.
Right, I can target you in the past for some spells. They're not super crazy. So yeah, there's all sorts of levels of power that and by a default, and we saw it here a little bit. Default, simple, normal Thyrsus goes, hey, here, have a bunch of extra strength, be superhuman, and with a moderate thought. Necromancers chaining up. Go ahead, Doc.
I had another dot of space, I could have been in 2 places at once.
Yeah.
Or
yeah.
3 or
far
4.
more than that. Yeah, you could be space mages can be in multiple places at once. Teleport people. It's my personal favorite threat. Do not mess with a space mage who has a actual rock from the moon, because he can take said rock, touch you, and you are now on the moon. Bye. There's no coming back from that. Stuff like that, it exists. And it's one of the reasons why mages are so terrifying. They're also super weak because, okay, well, you're a supernatural being, so you're capable of healing yourself fast, right? And you look down and you go, no, I have mana I can spend that'll heal me a little bit faster. Meanwhile, the werewolf is over here.
You're a Thyrsus.
Oh yeah, Thyrsus are a little bit better, but yeah, werewolf in their crazy.
I'm just gonna spend a mana and heal 2 aggravated per point of potency.
Sure. Well, and that's with a spell. But yeah, meanwhile, a werewolf in his crazy killer form is like, oh, bashing and lethal damage. I'm just gonna heal that at the start of the turn, every turn. Yeah. So while the monsters and the creepy things are different, it's it's a different type of horror. Whoop, we lost Doc again. That said, I hope you guys have had fun and enjoyed this crazy thing. Where's my clock here? Yeah, 6:53. So we might cut out just 7 minutes early. I don't know what the folks back over are doing, and I'm looking over now at our stream, and hey, look, We've got quite a number of donations, and I'm not paying attention to chat. I will just, I guess I can look at that on YouTube later if I want. Yeah, it was a blast. Doc is now a disembodied head. That's terrific. Just floating in the dark.
It's gotten dark, and my lighting adjustment that my camera had decided to crap itself when Discord restarted again.
Yeah, any last little questions or anything like that? About both Mage or the one shot or anything like that?
Did we actually find everything?
No. You found the most recent thing. Yes. And that said, there's no way in the short one shot that you will find everything. You found the big thing, and if you guys had beeline there, you may have started to find some other stuff that explains what the other things were and stuff like that. But yes,
there's more than one thing. Wasn't all just the ghosts?
Oh yeah, there's definitely more than one thing. If you are playing in my other games, go away right now. Don't watch this. But yes, there were other things that in the past had come in, and yeah, basically somebody is messing with the prison because they know what the Silver Ladder are trying to do, reform and make these, and basically this whole prison is trying to reform people, make them better, which is a generally accepted cool thing. But they're also nudging some of these people into trying to become mages, and there's people out there that not a fan of people becoming mages, and so that is the thing that is messing with the prison.
Becoming mages not under their control.
Also,
yeah, I mean, I think you dropped the clue there with the fact that this ghost was from a time so long ago, but has only a memory of being around for such a short period.
Oh no, it's got a plenty of memory of before. He was just talking about his time here at the prison.
Oh, yeah, I misunderstood that then.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, no, he was super glad that somebody picked up his ring and brought him someplace that was not a abandoned old park, and by park I don't mean like kids park, I mean like this nice little grassy area and stuff like that, very colonial times. Actually let me backtrack because I remember I skipped past this. So yes, Cyrus Parker, long hair like I mentioned, was hung for murder, and is basically trying to encourage and trying to repeat people to follow in his steps. And he's actually got his vest and shirt, and now that you guys are seeing him up close, you can see that he's actually still wearing his noose He's just kind of tucked down in his shirt
Oh.
and vest. Yeah. So yes.
Did Emmett have his ring first, and then Denny took it off him?
Nope. Denny had the ring, and
Okay.
basically the ghost saw Emmett running around and
He
reached
said,
out to,
"Yoink."
and said basically, "Hey, let's start a tussle," because he wanted Denny to kill Emmett. Yeah. Of course, he could have done it the other way and made Denny, but Denny's the one with the ring, and he didn't want people finding the ring. Wanted Denny to keep the ring, as opposed to Emmett being checked out. And, oh, what's this weird ring? And that gets left in the infirmary, and now he's stuck in the infirmary because they don't have a
think
very
that no one would search Denny if he murdered someone.
right. And yeah, so yeah, nobody said it was a smart ghost. And also, please don't poke holes in the one shot. It's flimsy as it is.
He's from colonial America. He doesn't know how a modern prison works.
That's
So
very true. Yes, thank you,
They
man.
get the bread.
Yes, they gave him bread and water. Yeah. So guys, thank you. It was an absolute blast. I'm glad you were able to join me. I hope you guys learned a little bit about Mage. Obviously, we will continue this in Discord chat. Obviously, I'm not going to try and spin this into a standalone game. I have enough on my plate. Thank you. But if you guys have questions about Mage or anything like that, I'm happy to help. And for those of you who are out there in YouTube land, come by my Discord for Occultist Anonymous, yeetinto.space, where we have all sorts. Yeah, I wasn't kidding. It's a thing. Yeah, that is the URL, yeetinto.space, and that'll take you right there. And there you can join a bunch of other folks, including Doc and Leo, who, by the way, are I'm part of that community. Miani, I know, has started watching the YouTube videos. I'm sorry.
It only takes you 50 episodes to figure out how scouring works.
Shush. I'm actually kind of proud of that, boo-boo. But yes, you can come by. We have a very open community, a very welcoming community. If you show up and you go, I don't know how to play Mage, but I'm interested, we have a ton of people who are happy to talk you through it, help you out. And of course, the whole YouTube Occultist Anonymous stuff was built literally for, I couldn't find anybody playing Mage online to watch, to learn, so I decided to do it, which in retrospect was a big act of hubris, but I'm fine with it.
it's Mage. We're all about hubris.
We are all about some hubris. So
Do the big hubris.
Do the big hubris. All right. Thank you, guys. We will catch you all later. I'm not getting a message about when we need to shut this down, so I'm just going to turn it off. Bye, YouTube land. Stay lucky.
Bye, YouTube. Stay lucky.
Stay home.
Stay